less is more.
What
Hi, this is the third Trump parody cover song made by Dancy Sing Stick Singing Channel. It's called Water Reed Hospital, made from River of Babylon. The other two Trump songs are Oh President Trump, Embrace the Bright Future under Trump's leadership. Their links are under this video. Please share, like, and subscribe to support Trump. More Trump songs are coming. Thanks. Near Water Reed Hospital, there they knelt down. Yeah, they prayed for President Trump's recovery. Everywhere in social media, there we get together. Yeah, we pray for President Trump's recovery. The wicked coronavirus attacked him and his colleagues. He badly needs call to prayer. Now we pray God grant him and his colleagues safety and health. The wicked coronavirus attacked him and his colleagues. He badly needs call to prayer. Now we pray God grant him and his colleagues safety and health. Yeah. Please don't go away. There's the second paragraph. Please share, like, and subscribe to support Trump.
Please don't go away. There's a second paragraph.
Prayers of our hearts be acceptable in the sight here tonight. Let the words of our mouths and the sincere prayers of our hearts be acceptable in the sight here tonight. Near Water Reed Hospital, there they knelt down. Yeah, they prayed for President Trump's recovery. Everywhere in social media, there we get together. Yeah, we pray for President Trump's recovery. Welcome to
Guys, she has nine different President Trump songs. We could listen to them all. That could just be the whole stream. I make that joke every time we listen to her. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Chud Watch. I hope we're all somewhat relaxed, at least relative to yesterday, when a bunch of right-wing terrorists stormed the Capitol building. If you missed that news, that happened. It wasn't fun. We did a 6-hour stream covering most of it. It was interesting. And then late last evening, or this morning, I suppose, sometime I think around like 2 or 3 or 4 or something in the morning, Congress certified the votes for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is officially going to be the president. I mean, he was officially going to be the president back in November when they, announced who was going to win. But now, the MAGA people, I think they've stopped trying to shift the goalposts to any legal date. And now it's just like either armed insurrection or Joe Biden's the president. So maybe this is as close to acceptance as they'll get. I don't know. Either way, very interesting. We have a lot of stuff to look at today. All the stuff that we're looking at today is going to be Chuds and people Chud adjacent, I guess, MAGA grifters and the like, reacting to what happened yesterday. Some of them are going to be pro the insurrectionists. Some are going to be admonishing them. We got a whole smattering. It's very interesting. We have those who are claiming ridiculous, unfounded conspiracy theories that it was secretly like Antifa dressed as MAGA people. Really ridiculous shit. So, a whole variety of different opinions coming out of the right about this event. So we're going to take a look. Let's see what we have up on the docket today. We have this guy who said, "We broke the country." Basically, he's going to be like, this can't go back in the bottle. Stuff like that. Oh, this is just this lady again.
Welcome to Dancing's President Trump from Oak. Oh, President Trump, we are Chinese Americans.
I'm not gonna make you sit through another one of those, though. At least not right now. I'm sorry. We have Bryson Gray doing a live chat, although this is an archived live chat from last night talking about the events. We have Officer Tatum, who says, "I am heartbroken." We'll see what that's all about. We have Sargon and the people from the Lotus Eaters podcast that he is a part of discussing the events and actually admonishing those who were involved, because I think Sargon knows that even this is a bad look for him. And he's someone who threatened to sexually assault his political opponent. So that's great. We have Styx talking about it. We have Tim Pool talking about it. We have Jeremy of the Quartering, his editor. He was at the thing. He was on the Capitol building. This is a video he took. We'll take a look at some of this stuff. Because, yeah, Jeremy's editor was there. And I could, by the way, I'm not just, he literally has, you know, he's the editor for the Quartering. It's in his thing. We're going to take a look at some of stuff from the Donald.win, see how they're dealing, and then we have Terrence K. Williams just being crazy. So we have a full one today. What do you guys think? What should we watch? Twitch is having a rough time right now. Yeah, they've been having some issues the past month. Someone says Tim, Terrence, Tim, Paul, Tim or Sargon. Twitch, please. Terrence, Tim. I think Tim is winning. Your thread on the Donald on Twitter was something else. Yeah, I was going through last night, and I got a little over 20 different interesting takes, so. A lot of people are saying Terrence. We'll start with something a little light. I tend to consider Terrence light MAGA material because it's clear he's a grifter. I don't know how much he actually buys into the bullshit he says, so we'll start with him. Let me take a nice drink of water. I have electrolysis tomorrow, so I can't, first of all, I couldn't shave today, which is unfortunate, because I hate upper lip hair, and it's disgusting on me, in my opinion. But I also have to drink a bunch of water to stay hydrated for the electrolysis appointment. Can we do a roll call? You got unfollowed from you somehow? Oh, that's weird. Okay, so Terrence K. Williams, MAGA comedian. He's not really funny. At least outside of a meta, his whole thing is pathetic, sort of funny. He's not intentionally funny. I'll say that. Anyway, he's reacting to the events last night when a bunch of MAGA idiots stormed into the Capitol building and committed many felonies. 4 people died. Yeah, basically just a big ol' mess. So let's see what Terrence has to say. Oh, Fried Dr. Hayes, thank you for subscribing.
I had nothing to say. But y'all had nothing to say. When Black Lives Matter, you know, that organization that act like they care about black people, but they really don't. You know, BLM, the group that act like they care about black lives, but don't say anything when black on black crime is happening. Yeah, that group. When they burn down cities all over this country, y'all had nothing to say. Nothing at all.
Yeah, remember how Portland literally doesn't exist anymore and it's completely turned to ash and no one lives there? Oh, wait, that didn't happen? Cool. You guys stormed the federal Capitol building, broke into the windows, broke into the doors, got 4 people killed. People brought zip ties to take hostages. Really? We're gonna equivocate? Really?
Those lips were zipped. Y'all had nothing
Yeah, and they found explosive devices
to say. When they burned down Target, nothing. When they burned down Wendy's, nothing.
Not the federal institution of Wendy's. I love those square hamburger patties, and it's the seat of our government. Oh, wait, no. That's the other one. I do like a Frosty, though, so.
Not only that, you Democrats and liberals want to act like y'all care about law and order? Black Lives Matter and Antifa burned down police stations, and y'all had nothing to say. Nothing.
Because they were reacting to, like, their human rights being trampled upon by continually, for decades and decades and decades, the police getting away with undue violence on black suspects. That's why. If you were storming the Capitol building for a good reason, people probably wouldn't give a shit. If it was like, oh, the government is literally, I don't know, like murdering U.S. citizens indiscriminately for funsies, I don't think anyone would care. Your motivations matter, and the motivations of the people who were storming the Capitol building yesterday were people who were trying to overthrow the results of a democratic election because their fashy daddy didn't win and has been throwing a temper tantrum on Twitter for the last month. That's not a good reason to do that.
Nothing to say at all, but now y'all act like y'all care about law and order. Because, hold on. So you mean to tell me that it was okay for BLM and Antifa to burn down small businesses, to burn down Walmart, to burn down
the small business that is Walmart? Weren't a bunch of MAGA people just in the last couple of weeks like being like, F Walmart, they get to stay open while small businesses don't, and all of a sudden Terrence gives a shit about whether or not Walmart gets burned to the ground? I don't care. Walmart is owned by the biggest, one of the most rich families on the planet. They have insurance. As long as no one gets hurt, I don't really care if it burns to the ground. I'm not advocating for that. I would never advocate for any sort of, like, action to destroy the property of other people. But, like, again, the equivocation, not great. Not super great.
People's homes, to burn down people's livelihoods. But y'all have a problem with Trump supporters walking into the Capitol?
Walking into the Capitol by smashing windows and attacking the police that they previously said their lives mattered. But again, we did the whole 6-hour stream yesterday and watched footage. They were, like, fighting the cops. One of them got, like one of these MAGA people got shot because they were trying to get into a place where a bunch of senators were barricaded. Like, you can't just equivocate and pretend. You cannot pretend after all the live stream footage, after explosive devices being found, after people bringing, like, zip ties and shit to, like, restrain probably Congress people that they were planning to kidnap or whatever weird shit they were gonna do. Like, you cannot pretend they were just, like, walking in for funsies. Like, oh, well, now we're in the Capitol. And by the way, that would be even stupider. That would be even stupider to break into the Capitol building, which is what happened, by the way. A lot of them broke in, and then once they were in there, like, all right, what now? It's like they thought life is a video game, and that once they took the position of the Capitol building, like, there'd be a level over screen, and they'd be like, all right, you took the Capitol, you get the government now. That's not how it works, as it turns out. You're just in a building, and you look like jackasses.
Trump supporters did not burn down the Capitol. Trump supporters did not burn down anything in Washington, D.C. at all. Trump supporters went into the Capitol. Yes, they did. And there were a bunch of liberals posing as Trump supporters also.
Oh no, he's going full conspiracy. It was Antifa in disguise all along. Good lord.
That were breaking windows.
No. I watched the windows get broken. I watched hours of live streams yesterday of all these people. I heard their conversations with each other. I heard what they were saying. They were not secretly liberals or leftists or Antifa. These are a bunch of MAGA people. These are the kind of people who listen to Terrence K. Williams and get riled up by him and his tweets over the past month. The exact kind of people that unironically look at all the media we look at on Chud Watch, Tim Pool and the like. This is the fault of Donald Trump and all these grifters. All of them. The chickens have come home to roost. You, like, sowing the seeds of distrust in American elections and distrust in the government. And I'm not saying you have to trust the government, but I'm talking about, like, deep-seated hatred for government institutions as a concept. You sowed this, and now you reap it. This is how it works. You reap what you sow. Ah! It's so frustrating.
There were some liberals posing as Trump supporters.
No evidence of that. And also, Sarah did a really good Twitter thread that, like, debunked a ton of the so-called evidence for that. It's really good. Go check out Sarah's Twitter. It is at Legend of Phoenix, I believe, but there's, like, a letter missing. Let me see if I can just link it. Legend of Phoenix. Let me see if I can get the actual thread. Oh, she should have pinned that thread. That was a really good thread. Let me see if I can find it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Where it be? Come on. Is this part of the thread? Yes, it is. Okay, here's the thread. It's great. I'll put it in the chat for you if you need it from anyone. Hold on, I'm getting a call.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Okay, sorry. Let's see. So yeah, this is Sarah's thread on debunking a lot of the bullshit that people like Terrence are saying.
Agitating. Yeah, starting violence to try to get Trump supporters all riled up to go crazy. But y'all want to trip because Trump supporters went into the Capitol? They didn't burn down nothing. That's the people's house anyway. The people run the Capitol.
You can't just walk in, though. That's not how that works. It would be like me going like, I fund my local police department via taxes, so I can just go storm into the police department. No, you can't do that. That's not how that works.
We keep the lights on, we the people. We keep that building going, we the people. We, the people who pay taxes, run that building. And they have the right to be in there. It's not violent to walk into the Capitol.
Again, 4 people died. They found explosive devices. People had zip tie shit to take hostages. Yeah. Good job, Terrence. You're nailing it.
I've been getting calls all day and text messages from people telling me I need to stop supporting Trump. I need to disassociate myself. Or else my career is going to be over. Or else my life is going to be over. Let me tell y'all something. Stop calling me. Stop texting me. I stand with President Trump. I am going to continue to fight for him. You think I'm going to turn my back on a man who put America first? You think I'm about to
Terrence is going down with this ship.
Turn my back on a man who has done so much for the American people? Not only that, for a man who has done so much for black people. And you think I'm going to turn my back on...
I'd love to hear what he thinks Trump has done for black people. By the way, I know Twitch is completely effed right now. If you're able to watch this stream right now, that's amazing, because Twitch won't even load on my phone. So, we're, we'll get through it. It's fine.
President to actually do a lot of stuff for the black community, who made the black community great again? And you think I'm about to give up on him? Are you stupid? You think I'm about to turn my back on him? It's not happening. It's not happening, Captain. Stop calling me. Stop texting me. I stand with President Trump. I stand with the man who has made this country great again, who wants to keep this country great. And y'all want me to disassociate myself? For what? For what? President Trump sacrificed everything to make sure we were good.
What did he sacrifice? Name a single thing Donald Trump has sacrificed in his entire life.
He gave up everything, worked for free.
He did not work for... I hate this so much. I hate this so much. He gave up his salary. Okay, presidential salary for him, not that much money. And secondly, he more than recouped that money by charging the Secret Service for a floor on Trump Tower, for visiting his own resorts and putting that money that is from all the visits into his own pocket. Like, he made money. He made money off the presidency, which is supposed to be illegal, by the way. But whatever. Laws don't matter, I guess.
You want me to give up on him? Go to hell, you ungrateful pieces of shit.
Ooh, Terrence mad.
Yeah, I said that. Because this man has done so much and y'all are so ungrateful. Shame on you, shame on you. And you think because some people stormed the Capitol that I'm going to turn on Trump? He didn't tell them to do that. He didn't tell nobody to be violent. He didn't do that.
Awkward ends to a lot of these ones. Interesting. So Marsha Blackburn says, I'll vote in support of certifying the Electoral College results. A lot of the senators ended up, who are going to do objections, ended up changing their mind after the failed attempt to, insurrection or whatever. Terrence K. William responds, I really liked you, Marsha, but I'm confused. You said 2 days ago you were convinced there was voter fraud and you would not support the election results. So what happened? One day you're against fraud and the next day you're okay with fraud? Here's what happened, Terrence. They were using this as a political prop. They don't really think there's election fraud. They think they can get people like you to get on their side and promote them if they say there's election fraud. And then one day, yesterday, a bunch of crazy people stormed into their place of work and threatened them by their very presence and storming into the Capitol building with, again, explosives and zip ties and a bunch of stuff that can be used for threats, used for violence. And I think they got a little dose of reality and they said, okay, not worth it, which is reasonable. Was he there? Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Y'all had nothing to say when Black Lives Matter.
This is the same one. You posted the same thing twice.
This is absolutely disgusting what is going on in our country right now. You damn right the people are pissed off. You right they pissed off. We all have the right to be pissed off. These Democrats have stolen this election from the American people. They have stolen this election from President Trump.
Again, stolen by winning more votes? I don't think you know what that word means.
They have stolen our rights. We all have the right to vote, and our vote should count.
Right, your vote did count. They counted your vote, but having your vote counted doesn't mean you automatically win. That's not how that works. By your logic, is every person who voted for the losing candidate, which is about 50%, in every presidential election since the beginning of presidential elections in the United States, were they all disenfranchised because they voted for the losing candidate? It's not how that works.
So you mean to tell me it's okay for these Democrats to take away our rights? Our votes don't even count. So technically, guess what? They took away our right to vote because they did not count our votes. And they gave some of our votes to Joe Biden. And you surprised people are pissed off? You surprised people are showing out? You darn skippy people are showing out. We have the right to. We are not about to sit back and just let them steal this country from us, knowing they're going to sell it off to China.
This is what I'm talking about, by the way. This is January 6th. I think this was before the Capitol got stormed. This is probably actually the morning of. This kind of, what do I want to say? Rhetoric. This kind of rhetoric caused the people to do what they did. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not... Terrence has the freedom of speech, and I don't think he should be impeded by the government from doing so. However, at what point does it become incitement of violence, right? At what point is this yelling fire in a crowded theater? I don't know. I'm not saying it definitely breaches that sort of litmus test, but it's something to think about.
Knowing they're going to sell it off to some country who don't give a damn about the American people. But nah, y'all want us to sit back and act like we didn't see nothing. Well, guess what? We can see clearly. The sun is shining and we can see. The sun is shining on all this bull crap, so we can see it clearly. And you better believe the fight is not over. Believe that. Believe that. Let me say it one more time. Believe that. We ain't going nowhere.
Mr. Williams, you're supposed to be a comedian. Where are the jokes?
They are doing it again.
This was for the Georgia election results that the Democrats won. Hooray.
Do y'all not see what they are doing? They stopped counting votes in Georgia. You know why? Because they are doing the same thing they did to President Trump. They are about to come up with some magical numbers out of nowhere, some made-up numbers, and claim the Democrats won. They want us to go to bed and wake up and believe the Democrats won. That's what they want us to do.
Sure, because that's the reality of the situation. It would be good if you would engage with reality every once in a while. That would probably be good.
They are pulling the same. How are we allowing this to happen? They can count votes all night long. People work third shift. People work the fourth shift, the second shift, the fifth shift. People work at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning. Why in the hell can they not count votes at night?
Because they have limited volunteers? They have limited volunteers, and that pool of volunteers has to sleep at some point. Not going to be very effective at their job if they're falling asleep.
Why can they not count votes at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning? But instead, they want us to wake up and believe that a bunch of votes were brought in at 2 and 3 in the morning.
Again, not brought in, counted.
I'm done. I'm seriously done. Let's see what happened.
I wish he'd be done. That'd be nice.
Still here.
Let's see. He says, our final warning, if you're a Republican and don't fight for Donald Trump on the 6th, you're done. Go stand in the unemployment line because you will never win again. He fought for us. Now it's our turn to fight for Trump.
We come. Now, before I go to bed, I have a message for every single Republican. Now, I sent this message before, but just in case you didn't get it, here it is, okay? Listen up, Republicans. On January the 6th, you better stand up for President Trump. On January the 6th, you better fight for Trump. Because the next time you run, you are out of here. You will not win. You better believe it. You better believe it. If you don't fight for Trump, that is the end for you. You can go get a job at Mickey D's or Burger King. You will never, ever win again. You will never win again.
But see, the thing is, politicians who back Trump are already losing, right? Look at Georgia in the runoff elections. So, it doesn't really matter, does it? Does it matter? If they support Trump, they'll lose. And if they don't support Trump, they'll lose. It's kind of interesting, actually.
If you do not fight for President Trump, okay? So go work at Walmart if you don't plan on fighting for Trump, okay? I hear Wendy's is hiring. You might as well apply now. Because you will never be in office again if you don't fight for Trump. Do the right thing or get lost. So I'm finally in D.C. Stop the Steal Here week.
Jesus Christ. Oh, he's on the plane.
It's not funny.
A joke?
I have a very dry sense of humor.
Exactly. Let's just leave her alone and let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
I can't imagine a worse fate than a plane full of Trump supporters.
I'll get in touch with
Oh, my Twitter finally loaded. Or Twitch, rather.
Don't leave.
Maybe hopefully they're solving their issues.
If she leaves.
you guys. Stay on the
Don't leave. Why would she leave?
They're making
I mean, she made a joke.
What kind of a joke?
a joke.
I wouldn't trust Terrence Williams to identify a joke if my life depended on it. Oh god, Meghan McCain blocked him. Okay. That's probably... Oh, no, let's do it. Let's do one more.
I need somebody to get on the phone right now and tell every single Republican to call me. I got something to say. Listen and pay attention. If y'all do not help President Trump, if y'all do not object to this fake election, I'm done with you. We are done with you. I guarantee you, if you don't fight for President Trump, we will never fight for you again. We will never fight for any of you. So if you want to be reelected the next time, then you better make sure President Trump is reelected. You better make sure these Democrats don't get away with cheating. Because I guarantee you, if my president, I guarantee you, if President Trump loses this election because y'all let the Democrats steal this election from the American people and from President Trump, you will never have our support again, okay? You will never have it. You are not entitled to my support. You are not entitled to my vote. So if you don't stand up for Trump, you will never get my vote again. You will never get my vote again.
Someone says we watched that one already. It's kind of hard to tell. I believe you. It's just all his videos lately have been very, very similar. His videos are all basically, F the Republicans if they don't support Trump, and that's the whole thing. So that's how Terrence is doing. Not well. I imagine as we get closer to the 20th, he's going to get worse and worse and worse. We'll see what happens. What is he going to do? What's he going to do? Because even Trump has said today, like, all right, you know, we'll do a peaceful transition of power. Welcome back, Sushi Mom. I think some of the Twitter issues are getting resolved slowly, so welcome back anyone who's, you know, able to chat and stuff now. I think bits are still broken, but that's okay. What's Terrence going to do? His whole identity as a public figure is Trump supporter. Trump's going to be gone. I'm sure he'll be somewhere on some social media, even if it's not Twitter or whatever. He'll be on Parler or who knows where, ranting. He might start a news network or some shit. He might, like, end up buying One America News Network or what's the other one? Newsmax or whatever and rebranding it. Who knows? I'm sure he'll be in the public sphere somewhere, but he will not be... He will not be what we are currently doing, you know? He won't be at the forefront of the news every day. So what is Terrence gonna do with his MAGA grift when the MAGA cult is no longer coalesced around Trump all day, every day? It's gonna be interesting. Moving on. We got a little bit of bits that we're able to get through. Pulp Free Fiction says, he really has no exit strategy, does he? This is the perfect time to jump ship and he's doubling down. I'm starting to think it's more than just grift. I don't know. I think he just doesn't have any material outside of the grift. I think he's just desperate because he doesn't know what else to do. Mickey Pike, thank you for 100 bits. Just shoot me now. Ghetto Kanye with 20 bits. I wish I could watch today, but the chuds are getting to me. I'll probably catch the YouTube upload. Have a good stream, Hannah. Thank you. MMO Addicted with $5. I can't do bits. Rip Twitch why you do this. Yeah, the Streamlabs donation works, though, if anyone wanted to give that way instead of bits. If Trump rebrands a news network, will he rename it after himself? Yes. Yes, he's a narcissist. He would have to. He would rebrand it Trump TV or something. You know what? I actually do want to show you guys something. Profile. So, I posted this thread on Twitter. I went through the Donald.win and looked at some of their spicier takes on what happened yesterday. This was after they had already been escorted out of the Capitol. The insurrectionists, terrorists, whatever you want to call them. Either way, they had already been escorted out, and the vote had commenced once again of Congress to certify the Electoral College results. So they were real salty. So let's take a look at some of these takes that they had on the Donald.win, and then we might actually take a look at the Donald.win to see what they're saying today. I'm sick to my stomach. Me too. I'm going to do dramatic readings of these, by the way, so you're welcome. I'm sick to my stomach. Me too. I haven't been able to eat all day. Same here. It's only a matter of time before white people are executed by Black Lives Matter in the streets, and the media and the government cheer it on. So they're in a very reasonable headspace. Things are going extremely well from my view. Extremely well. This day is the day we have been waiting for. Today had to happen to get where we're going. These traitors were never going to willingly board the prison plane to Gitmo. I think Trump gave them every chance to do this peacefully, but it was never going to happen. They are all facing 20 plus years in prison, or a firing squad. It was always going to be like this, and Trump has planned this for years. He has the Insurrection Act, he has the executive order, he has the special ops and the military on his side, he has the truth on his side. He has us on his side. The eggs were finally broken. Now Trump can make us our omelet. 14 days he gets sworn in. Guaranteed. I will sleep soundly tonight. Dramatic. Some of you may disagree with me, but I still have hope, and lots of it. I know today was difficult, and I completely understand why some may not feel the same way I do, but when I think about who Trump is, and what he's fought through, Russian hoax, impeachment, etc., I realize that he's always come through in the end. This isn't over, not by a long shot. There's still plenty of time for things to happen. I don't know if there is some master plan or not, but at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen until we're actually defeated. I will not be giving up hope. The true test of faith comes in the darkest of times. We have God in our corner, and Trump in the ring fighting for us. Stay strong, everybody. The best is yet to come. And then someone responds, okay, but don't be oblivious to the fact that you ain't getting your freedom back without blood. Lots of blood. Oh, God. Yeah, the Donald.win's just full of people calling to violence right now, in case you don't know. It's bad. Baked Alaska was COVID positive while in the Capitol. He was hanging out with Nick Fuentes, too. Idiots. Now what? Are we lost? Last option is to cross the Rubicon. They are in the building occupying the Capitol, but have lost momentum because nobody actually knows what to do. Where is Trump? That was when they were just kind of hanging out in the Capitol, not knowing what to do, because they're the dog who caught the car. They don't know what to do when they get it. Suspend Congress. Stop the Electoral College certification process. 2. Martial law and the Insurrection Act, which is hilarious considering they're the ones committing an insurrection. But, whatever. Fine details. Don't worry about it. Round up the traitors, confiscate the machines, audit the election votes, prove fraud in swing states. I like that they're admitting that they don't already have proof, so they need to seize voting machines in order to manufacture evidence. State legislatures vote in the contested states. Resume Congress. Count the true electoral votes as certified by state legislatures. Trump is sworn in on 120. That's some fun fan fiction. By the way, anyone who's like a fan of like alt history fiction, I'm gonna hope that there's gonna be someone who does an alt history thing where, what if that time a bunch of MAGA insurrectionists stormed the Capitol actually led to something? And then we'll see dystopian fiction about Trump becoming dictator. I don't know. That might be fun to read in 15 or 20 years when we're far, far past this. He says, "We aren't lost. We've taken an L, but we've also opened the eyes of millions to how disgusting the cheating goes and corruption goes. There is now millions of Trumps. No one believes the media. Everyone knows the education system is indoctrination camps. The list goes on. We're woke. Whatever happens next is up to us." Seriously? They weren't aware of this before the Georgia election? They cheat openly and blatantly and have proven to all that they can take whatever they want. Why are you guys demoralized after today? Finally, people fought back. We always knew the road would be long and hard. This is just the first battle. Just for the record, you know, they're planning for more. So, be aware of that. Declare war, for F's sake. It's going there whether they like it or not. Gaslighting isn't taken seriously. They let the media get away with whatever they want along with the Democrats and rhinos. Good luck stopping the explosion of violence. They also spelled rhinos wrong. Rhinos stands for Republicans in name only. It's not supposed to have the H like the actual animal rhino. The nation state is dying all over the Western world. The nation state is dying all over the Western world. Isn't it ironic that China, a communist nation, understands the concept of race and teaches their youth all about Han Chinese genetics and identity and how they are the first and most advanced people on Earth in their education curriculum? Yet the UNO, big tech and Western leaders never opposed or called out China for such Nazi-esque indoctrination, but they would jump like hounds when whites try to organize a normal barbecue in their backyard. Typical centrist, just wants to grill. Just wants to grill and talk about ethno-nationalism? Yikes. So all these effers are willing to disenfranchise the votes of over 74 million Trump voters because a few hundred of them stormed the Capitol? Yep, they have a cushy job to uphold. 80 million plus. Let me see, what are the actual vote totals? U.S. election 2020 results. No, not 80 million plus. Donald Trump got 74 million votes. Biden got over 80 million votes. So they're just wrong on that one. And you're not being disenfranchised because the opposition won the election. That's how elections work. I don't care what happens anymore. I just don't. I'm out of F's to give regarding the old order. If it must be obliterated, then so be it. If they back down after today, they are signaling their own death warrant. I'm not saying this to encourage violence, but I think it is now very clear that people will take this much further. We aren't like BLM or Antifa. We will go straight after the corrupt politicians, and they should realize that. Correct! Have we all not crossed now as well? That guy had an interesting voice. Did anybody want to just hug him when he objected? They're talking about one of the senators who objected to the certification of the Electoral College votes. Did anybody want to just hug him when he objected today? Or is it just me? He looked so nervous but still stood strong. He's a patriot for sure. I cried with happiness. Then I read Pence's statement about 20 minutes later and was hysterical, crying in fear and sadness for our country. Still am off and on. Sorry, female peed here. Sad for my toddler. Don't apologize. We're in the exact same boat. Just staring at my kids, and I'm afraid for their future. I know there are millions of us, but I feel very alone tonight. Concerned about the future of my girls and my beautiful grandchildren. I was so hopeful. No more fear, patriots. So, these people have children. That's depressing. Someone help those kids, please. This is a good one. We don't know if Trump has been kidnapped. Dude is gone. Yes, I know. Many things to worry about at the moment. Seriously, where the F is Jodas? I worry about Barron. I think we all worry about Barron. Yeah, Twitch is shitting itself, I know. The show must go on, though. All he needed to say was, my fellow countrymen, our government is controlled by unelected fascists who do the bidding of the CCP. I have attempted to expose and remove them within the system, and that has failed. To any freedom-loving American who can hear us, I urge you to take up arms. Use force against those who usurp our freedoms. Tear down the media, big tech, which they use to subjugate the masses. Tear down the intelligence agencies they use to spy on you. If he called people to arms, things would come to an end. Instead, a few people tried to light the spark and Trump snuffed it out, and now he looks like a villain. History is written by the winner, and Trump willingly made himself the loser today. What comes next is going to be much harder and much bloodier than it would have been if he just took command. And he could at least have tried to get the military to step in and stop this communist takeover. Now he's just handing the communists the keys to the world's most powerful military after they just rigged our elections and started eliminating small businesses in the middle class. Next up is gun confiscations and mass executions, and Trump didn't do much to fight back after the election except string us along with unwarranted hope. Over the next 4 years, when none of this happens and we basically have business as usual, like neo-lib pro-corporate policies, are these people ever going to be like, oh, whoops, we were wrong? Well, they didn't do that after Obama, I guess. They also said Obama was going to do all these things, and that never happened over 8 years. So, they're just awful. They're just awful. I'm going to go with that. It's the same flaw that has plagued his presidency. He's a good-hearted man and too trustworthy. Think of the many advisors he hires. He trusted, who then betrayed him. Even Trump didn't understand how deep the swamp was and how evil they are. So Trump is incompetent and doesn't hire good people? Shock. He's right. If POTUS goes out like this, his legacy will be doomed. Beyond that, he'll probably also be arrested over some made-up BS. He better accept that there's no negotiating out of a deep state globalist cabal. He has to let the big guns out. Certainly, if it ends with that speech he gave today, wow, that was not his best speech, and definitely not the speech we needed today. He's given excellent speeches in the past during moments where he needed to. This time, he did not. If this is how it ends, it's a whimper. He might have been worrying about what evil communists would do to his family. It's not something any of us would imagine. Communists and betray by your vice president would make most pretty upset. They're so freaked out by communists, which is not something people in America have had to deal with for a long time. Like, no, there are no communist American politicians. What are you talking about? Oh, this one was just cringe. The revolution is bigger than Trump. This is not about one man. This is about America. This is about our children's future. He can be part of it or not. It doesn't matter. 1776 will commence again. And then it's a picture from the Patriot. This, 100,000 times. If Trump is ready to lead a revolution, fantastic. If not, he needs to get the F out of the way. We only have one shot at this. If we lose, life isn't worth living anyways. Forced vaccines and re-education camps is a fate worse than death. Exactly. This is not and has never been about Trump. Correct, my friend, but never ever count Trump out. We will win. Yep, this is the first time I've seen this written in the Donald .win. Yep, F Trump. Tells us to show up. We do, then he ghosts us when things get crazy and doesn't take initiative to back us up. Where's the big news Insurrection Act? EOs, declassification, servers from Germany. Get F'd, basically. Time we rise up against these commie leftists without a loser. So again, I want to be clear. Oh, so bits are working but for some people? Great. Awesome. This isn't going to go away when Trump loses. Trump already lost. But what I'm saying is when Trump's no longer in office, these people are going to continue the fashy stuff without him. And I'm sure they'll be looking for some other figurehead. I don't know who it will be. There are a variety of people, I'm sure, who would love to be fashy Donald Trump again in 2024 or whenever. They're going to be looking for that person, and they'll probably find them at some point, and it's going to be horrifying. This person says, DC turns into Nazi Germany. Patriots are locked in their hotels being threatened by police. Someone pull the fire alarm. They can't keep you inside if there's a fire. You're being kept in your hotels because you broke into the Capitol building. This person says, I'm leaving the Republican Party and registering as independent until 100% non-cucked Patriot Constitution Party is established. I'll never vote Republican again. Never. The Libertarian and Constitutional Parties compromised. My life mission will be to ensure no rhino, C-U-N-T, ever gets elected again. And if they're using big tech to reach out, they lost my vote. Donation. Votes no longer mean anything. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Your tally will go to who they want. Or none at all. Again, they're stuck on... I think the election fraud narrative that Trump has been pushing is actually going to be damaging to Republican voter turnout for a little bit. At least probably in 2022. I don't know about 2024, but... a lot of these people legitimately think their votes are, like, being stolen. They're wrong, but they believe it. Patriots. Guys, Trump supporters, including Chuds in chat, no one calls you patriots except you losers. You're not patriots. You're a bunch of man babies freaking out because you lost an election. Grow the fuck up. Okay? Cool beans. No, you're not banned, Lavender Amberly. Twitch has been having issues. So if you're trying to, you know, do stuff. It looks like it's slowly getting fixed, though, because the viewer numbers are going back up. Until I hear from Trump again, I cannot relax. I want to know what the F is going on. I can't watch Congress anymore. All these 5-minute speeches fully planned, already written after that shit today. They had this planned. Something stinks. It all stinks. It's rigged. Where's Trump? I need to see him now. As I've told my family for a while, we had to give Trump every chance because the other option is war. So here's hoping we still have our leader. This person says DC cops have surrounded a hotel where Trump supporters are staying, fixing to arrest everyone. Maybe it's time to send in a second wave. So again, they're calling for more violence against the police. This is sad. This one just says, I for one thing, it's possible this person is just lying, but, you know, there are people in the LGBT community who unfortunately have fallen for the Trump cult. Says, I, a gay man, put aside my fears and suffered years of abuse for voting for Pence in Pennsylvania in 2016. He is far worse than any gay bigot. He's a charlatan and just another fake politician. This person says, same, I had quite a few people quit talking to me. You're gay and you voted for him and Trump? And another comment, you voted against my rights, I can't be your friend. How do they write that and not understand that that's completely valid? If you vote against the rights of your fellow people, they're not going to want to deal with you. If you were in the Capitol building today without a mask on at all, please get out of town ASAP. Yes, it's a government building and we paid for it. It's okay, enough of that shit. Many crimes occurred today. Trespassing, being in restricted government buildings, assault and battery on law enforcement, looting and vandalism. If you have any of you on camera, don't think they will not snatch your ass up. Law enforcement is vindictive as hell. They're gonna want someone to suffer for this, don't let it be you. At least this person recognizing the variety of crimes that took place, that's good. Sorry, peds, but I'm feeling black pill. UK ped here, sat under yet another bullshit lockdown. I wanted so hard to believe, but with the fall of the USA, things can only get worse and fast. Next few years, the entire West will speed towards utter technocracy. I can see no out. So sorry to seem so doomorous. If there is a light, please share it with me. More than ever, people need hope, and that actions will facilitate change. Thanks for reading. Love you all. So that's what I compiled last night. What's a ped? A ped is short for centipede. It comes from an old meme from the early days of the Donald on Reddit. It's not on Reddit anymore. It has its own domain here at thedonald.win. But back when it was still on Reddit, back in 2016, 2015, they called Trump a nimble navigator, because he basically everything bounced off him in terms of whatever. They called him a nimble navigator. And that somehow turned into, oh, like a centipede. And then they started calling each other centipedes, which became pede. It's a whole thing. Let's see what this post is. I hope some of you have finally learned. The left has no principles whatsoever. It's useless to try and resist their tyranny while trying to avoid their absurd accusations. No matter what you do, they'll accuse you of being what they are, a violent fascist or something. You guys broke into the Capitol building yesterday. If we demonstrate peacefully, they'll call it an armed insurrection while they burn cities, murder children, and claim it was mostly peaceful. Stop caring what leftists are going to say about you. They're communists who will promote whatever narrative they feel like without any regard to reality. So F optics, F civility. You're either on the side of the people, or you're on the side of the authoritarian tyrants ignoring the Constitution. The projection. It's IMAX level projection. Ridiculous. Jesus. Comparing themselves to the Boston Tea Party. Shopify deplatformed Trump's various stores. Good. What the communist F is going on with this world? They want to literally erase Trump. With 80 million living supporters, good luck with that. If anything, that would only make him a martyr for our cause and spark an all-out war. He has millions of supporters worldwide as well. They will not succeed. Canada says hi. It sucks we don't have anything remotely close to a Canadian Trump. Oh, God. That's a sad thought. Okay, is there anything else before we move on? I just wanted to get some of this stuff, because it's pretty crazy. How about Rising? Any Rising threads? It is both cringe and delusional, yeah. Oh, no.
Right to protest. We're supposed to be horrified.
Why is it doing that? Hold on.
Protesters. Right to protest. We're supposed to be horrified by the protesters. Meanwhile, 4 years of a coup launched in the Oval Office of Barack Obama.
What? What are you talking about? Oh, I hate Rush Limbaugh so much. I'm glad his show will not be on the air for long.
To overturn the election results of 2016 and not a single word of concern about the potential damage to our Constitution. No, they were just utter denials. We didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Trump's got to go. Trump's poison. So a lot of irony out there, and there's a lot of people calling for the end of violence. There's a lot of conservatives, social media, who say that any violence or aggression at all is unacceptable, regardless of the circumstances.
There's nothing funny about the
I'm
tools
glad
of
Sam
capitalism.
Adams, Thomas Paine, the actual Tea Party guys, the men at Lexington and Concord didn't feel that way.
Oh, great. Limbaugh is now calling for more violence. Isn't that illegal? Can you go on the radio and tell people do more violence? Pretty sure that's illegal. That's one of the forms of speech that is not protected by the First Amendment. This person says, I found out I'm getting kicked out of the army today. In the military, if you don't make promotion lists at certain junctures in your career, you're done. Whether or not you made said list depends on your boss's completely subjective assessment of your performance. Well, that's how all jobs work when you have a boss. My boss was a toxic diversity hire. Oh, here we go. My boss is a woman or not a white person, and therefore they shouldn't be in charge of me. My boss was a toxic diversity hire, and I know from the day he took command that it was going to be a rough time for the unit, so getting a pair of negative evals from him was kind of like having Paul Ryan tell you you're a failure. I thought I'd be more angry or sad or something, but the truth be told, I'm mostly just relieved. I didn't want to fight for this new president or this Congress, and I don't want to watch the organization I've devoted tens of thousands of hours of my life to slowly fall apart over the next decade, and now I won't have to. So I guess I'll just take my 4 deployments worth of combat experience, go home, play with the kids, and wait for something. What a loser. I'm glad he's out of the military. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's enough the Donald dot win. That's, it is what it is. I just wanted to show that to you guys to see how the MAGA peeps are coping. Hint, not well. Moving on. Let me do these bit messages and stuff, because some of them are coming through. Local Forest Cryptid, thanks for following. Wozes, thank you for following. Shady Shroomy with 20 bits. Can I cheer? Yes, you can. Andrew Batella with 20 bits. Testing bits. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits. Bits finally work. Thanks for this awesome reading, of course. AshyBoo74 says, have my test bits. Love you, Hannah. Comrade Cat Pernicus with 20 bits. Logarth with 20 bits. Watching other streamers at work today makes me really appreciate you more, Hannah. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Logarth with 20 bits. This was like a bad reenactment of the beer house putsch. Yeah, Andrew Batella with 20 bits. Projection. Wing the Ultimate Nug with 20 bits. Finally, the Twitch gods say I'm allowed to watch you. Yay. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits. Would a Canadian Trump be sorry? Lily Love Stuff, thank you for resubscribing. Ooh, Hype Train. 6-month streak. The struggle to get into this chat is way too high. Yeah, I'm sorry. Twitch is having issues. Felix Night Owl, thank you for following. Lavender Amberly with 400 bits says, thanks for being awesome, Hannah. Thanks for watching. Quasi Shuffle Kitty with 20 bits. Test bits. I don't have a lot to say about this particular topic. However, I do think it's interesting. So this is Lofty Pixels, who is the video editor for The Quartering. The Quartering, of course, being Jeremy. We watch The Quartering on Chud Watch relatively often. He's a Brie Larson aficionado, among other things. So Jeremy's editor was at the Capitol storming. Yeah. Yep.
Building, yes.
He's claiming also that it was Antifa. It's not.
For you of this person talking about inciting more violence on a national scale. And keep in mind, this person was not the only one doing this. There was another woman going around with a megaphone disclosing the address of Mayor Bowser and talking about moving there to cause more chaos and violence.
Here he was on the roof of the Capitol. Or on a scaffolding. No, he was on the roof. Here he is at the event. I'll get to the bits in a minute, so I know we're doing the hype train.
Year-old girl. Yeah, I have a video of it, but I shot her neck and she was just spewing out blood. No, she was going through and they just shot her. Some trigger-happy cop. Because when we were in there, like, there were multiple cops that were, like, crying. You know what I mean? And we're like, dude, leave. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you defending the people that don't defend you? Like, just fucking leave.
Cops aren't going to have any more support anymore.
No. So then, you know what I mean? Like, we talked to several of them. Some were scared shitless and whatnot. But I'm assuming it was just one dumb asshole who just, like, opened fire live round. Shot her in the
She
head.
was, okay, for those who haven't seen the video, of course I can't show it on Twitch because it involves someone dying. They were at the door for the congressional chambers. There were Congress people in there being protected by cops. This lady smashed in a window and started climbing through the window to get into the chamber with Congress people in there. As she's climbing through the broken window, that's when she gets shot. She got shot because she was breaking and entering into a... They already broke into the Capitol building, and now they smashed windows and were crawling into the room with senators. Like, she was not some innocent person just having a good old vacation, okay? She was a QAnon person. And her Twitter account got deleted by Twitter, but some people had some stuff from it, and she was like a full-on QAnon believer and stuff, so. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. I just wanted to point out, hey, Jeremy's editor. Jeremy's editor was at the Insurrection attempt. Okay. Level Head Turner, thank you for the 100 bits. Metal Giga with 20 bits, thank you. Andrew Patella with 20 bits. The previous bits wasn't projection, but projecting the projection itself. Gotcha. That makes sense. Old Enough to Know More Better, thank you for gifting a sub. Doom Smoothie with 20 bits. I'm getting a shirt that says, I punch fascists, and then KR Goss with 100 bits. Shady Shroomy with 100 bits says, I will say the fact Congress went back last night and hammered out the electoral verification is pretty cool, if a relatively small victory. I agree. Tucker White with 20 bits. What will we do when we get a coup that's not composed of your average Walmart customers? I'm hoping they're going to up the security at federal buildings after this. Baja says, by the way, the same person that sent those links to me also linked Go file of Jeremy's stream talking about the protests if you want to see what he was saying. Maybe. I might wait for his video on Midwestly about it. I don't know. Fairly CC, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Chapomon, thank you for resubscribing with a 7-month streak. Says, what an insane day yesterday, and updated on our dog. Chiquita is doing great. The mass we were concerned about came back negative for cancer. Thank you and the community for your support. I'm so glad. Great. 12 a.m. coffee with 20 bits. The fact Basement P Lad has an editor is just shocking. Sashi Maru with 50 bits. Wait, did you say this was Jeremy's video editor? What does he need an editor? Aren't his videos just like incoherent ramblings done in a single take these days? Sometimes he has little bits at the beginning and the guy makes those. Woohoo Lulu with 160 bits. The photos make me sick. How can people claim they're patriots when they just want to overthrow a democratic vote? Cognitive dissonance. Creeping Darkness with 20 bits. This is sort of relevant. And then there was a link. Oh, I saw this. I gotta get the audio to work though.
We're enemies. They pushed me out and maced me.
I need 11,780.
They pushed me out and maced me.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Shady Shroomy with 100 bits. Thank you. Redacted 420 says just got approved for HRT. Hey, congratulations. Cupcake Chaos with 100 bits. I'm having a rough time with the siege. I know I shouldn't want them hurt, but I'm mad that our people were hurt for so much less. Yeah. The hypocrisy is pretty frustrating, but it is what it is. Well, we get through the hype train. Let's sample some music.
Of us love you, though you treat CCP cruel. You put America first, 'cause you love American people. If you're not reelected, our American dream will fail. President Trump, there will never be another, 'cause you cannot be bought. Don't ever trust fake news. Let President Trump go.
2 minutes left in the hype train.
Want you to be our president, no matter what fake news say. Oh, President Trump, we're so supporting you. Oh, President Trump, many Americans love you. You keep America safe, though you treat criminals cruel. You cut taxes, and you cut medicine prices. You're God-chosen president to cherish Christian values.
Stone Corbell says, I can cheer now. How are you doing, Hannah? I'm good. How are you? A minute left on the hype train.
You're an outsider. Don't ever watch fake news. We're hardcore fans of you. We'll always want you to be our president, no matter what fake news say. Oh, President Trump, may God bless American Jews.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. 0M80 with 100 bits. Hey, Hannah, last time on Tinfoil Tuesday, I told you about the right-wing conspiracy podcast called No Agenda. I found they actually have animated segments on YouTube. Ooh, nice. All right. I will save this for conspiracy stuff. Lavender Amberly, thanks for 100 bits. Pyromancer56, thanks for the 40 bits. 17 seconds left. I think we're only going to get a level 2 hype train, but that's not bad. I appreciate it. Especially considering Twitch's issues today. Or Orion Cygnus, thank you for the 101 bits. Okay, level 2. Not bad. No, it's level 2. It says level 2 completed. Ooh, Argonian Bum, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do next.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
The boy with the fairy with 100 bits. How do you think John Doyle will react to all the things Trump has done yesterday? I don't know. I feel like John Doyle's... Oh, John Doyle's Discord got removed. Did you guys hear about it? John Doyle got his Discord removed. So, John Doyle's probably upsetty spaghetti about yesterday because his Discord got deleted for potentially, I think, being a part of organizing some of the shit that happened in the Capitol yesterday.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
And also the attempt at whatever they were trying to do failed, so he's probably pretty sad. Sad John Doyle. Wah, wah.
That's right,
Skywise 8 with 100 bits. I can't see the hype train. Send help. John was defending that stuff, which is why it was deleted. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
I told you his mask was going to keep coming off. You know? Twitch appears to be back from the dead. KR Goss for $10. Can't give subs, but can do this. Thank you. Okay, let's do this. So Tim Pool, who is making a career out of calling for civil war, basically. Every other video is, oh, the Civil War's coming, 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 the Civil War's coming. Well, yesterday, a bunch of Trump loonies broke into the Capitol building in an act of, I don't know what you want to call it, sedition, with some other words that I'm blanking on at the moment. Whatever you want to... I have it in the title of this video. Hold on. Why am I blanking on words now? Insurrection. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Whatever you want to call it. Terrorism, whatever. I'm curious how Tim is going to take this, because you reap what you sow. He's been sowing this sort of violent civil war, violence solves problems rhetoric for quite a while. Curious how he feels now that it's time to reap what he sowed. By the way, there's something I wanted to show you on Twitter. I think I retweeted it so that I'd be able to find it easily. It was basically Tim Pool. Oh, I gotta get through all these tweets. There we go. Here it is.
The left is kind of going crazy. The left has become psychotic, and it truly terrifies me.
It's embarrassing.
The left has gone insane, or it's been taken over by complete psychopaths, and it really does terrify me today.
Let's have trial by combat.
The Democrats have gone off the rails. Absolutely, in my opinion. This should be enough data to show you it's the Democrats going crazy. Now, I think Republicans got to rein it in a little bit, for sure, but the Democrats have lost it.
Yeah! Thank you, President Trump!
What's happening to people to precipitate this kind of complete psychosis that is affecting the left?
One woman has been shot.
And I'm going to make the bold statement that the left is trapped in a paranoid, delusional state. And I've got evidence to back this up. They're in an anger-induced, paranoid, delusional state.
Staff and members in the Capitol are being evacuated.
Paranoid delusions come from the left.
We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election.
I can prove to you it's the left that's become a cult.
Who here is up to the task of not wearing a mask? Jesus is king, and it's time to let freedom ring.
My ideological vision of a world is very left-wing. But these people are nuts. What happens when moderate leftist Tim Pool calls out the insanity that is infecting the Democrats?
Moderate leftist! America!
The left is fractured completely. I'm evidence of it, right? So is Dave Rubin.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. Our country has had enough, and that's what this is all about.
Well, that's the end. The Democrats are going to go insane.
Yeah!
Beautiful. Good job on that one, Vadim. So let's see how Tim Pool feels after yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, massive breaking news. Reports that the Capitol...
This is actually during it, I think. I think he posted this while it was happening.
Rotunda has been tear-gassed as Trump supporters have breached the building and are making their ways to the main chamber. Chuck Grassley and Mike Pence have been ushered out to a secure location. The joint session has been recessed. Evacuations are underway. Cue Ron Paul, it's happening meme. I didn't think it. I mean, I thought Trump supporters would show up, but I was wrong. I didn't think this would happen. It started when news reports came that Trump supporters breached 4 layers of outside security. Many didn't know if they were going to continue on and make their way into the building. We then saw video emerge of Trump supporters bashing out the windows of the Capitol building. They've made their way in. Some men have fire extinguishers, and they're dispersing them, creating smoke screens so the police can't see. They're making their way in. Several people on the left and even some Republicans are calling this a coup attempt. Donald Trump tweeted out that Mike Pence didn't have the
I would call it more, again, insurrection or something, because I'm pretty sure a coup requires military support. Although, military coup, I don't know. I don't know the specific definition, but...
courage, something to that effect. I'll go through these tweets, but many people are saying Trump is not disavowing this. Mike Pence issued a statement saying he will not return fraudulent electors because he doesn't have the power, thus saying he will not be supporting the president in his effort. We were in the midst of hearing from senators and members of Congress about their objections and their oppositions to the objection. When they announced that the Trump supporters breached the building, here's a tweet from Matt Fuller. They've just dispersed tear gas in the rotunda and are telling members to put on gas masks under their seats.
Over under, does Tim Pool have a big old chubby below the camera line? Because he sounds so excited about this turn of events.
My friends, over the past couple of hours, I've been looking at this story and trying to compile what's been happening. They gave out bags with gas masks to members of Congress. This is the escalation. Where we go from here, I have no idea. It could be that Trump supporters take the Capitol building, they shut down the Electoral College vote, and we enter a constitutional crisis.
No, Tim. It delayed them for a little bit. But they basically went into the Capitol building and then they were like, what do we do now? We took the position. Isn't the game over, level over screen supposed to come up? Oh, in real life you actually need to do more than just get into a place for you to succeed? Shit. All right, let's go. And then they got pushed back by the police over time.
It could be that... Okay, I got to slow down. The National Guard is being requested. They're in D.C. They may shut this down, but there is not enough law enforcement or National Guard to deal with the tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people who are there.
Yet they did. Funny how that worked.
We've seen photos and videos that appears to be mid to high 10,000s, maybe 50 to 90,000 or so. I'm not entirely sure. Some have reported over 100,000.
I don't think it was over 100,000. There were a decent number of people there. It was in the tens of thousands, or at least 10,000. I don't know. But, like, at the actual Capitol itself, it wasn't. Especially as things went on, it dispersed as people sort of realized, oh shit, we committed a bunch of felonies. We should probably get out of here.
Of those people, many of them will not fight. There's a lot of older men and women who are probably not going to be involved, and a lot of people who didn't come there expecting to get into a clash to take the Capitol. But if several thousand remain, and they're not going to back down, it's going to be very difficult to regain control.
Tim is talking about this legitimately like he's excited it is happening and that he hopes that they overthrow the government. Like, this isn't how you talk about this turn of events. If you think it's bad that they are basically attempting a coup on the government. This isn't how you talk about it. This is how you talk about it if you're excited at the possibility that the democratic government of the United States might get overthrown. He's like, he's so excited.
This could result in a violent clampdown of military authority or martial law, something to that effect, which results in a harder lockdown nationwide. Or it could result in Trump supporters somehow taking power and Donald Trump remaining president.
Look, guys, I had a lot of thoughts yesterday. I was concerned about, like, the safety of people in the building, especially when it first happened, because we didn't know if they were able to get, like, the senators and the Congress people, or the senators and the House members out in time. There, of course, are just, people who work at the Capitol building. I was concerned for their safety, but at 0 point throughout the day did I go, oh no, they're going to effectively take over the government of the United States. How? How would they do that? There's no way a bunch of jackasses in Trump memorabilia are going to walk into the Capitol building and just take it over. That's not how anything works.
I'm not confident in that. I believe that's slim to none. I still believe, after all of this, Biden will be president. I believe the most likely outcome to everything I'm telling you right now is that Biden will be emboldened to clamp down, lock down, and enforce martial law. From this, we may actually get legit Insurrection Act. You've got Jake Tapper saying, this is being incited by Trump and it's stochastic terrorism. You've got Democrats saying this is insurrection, it's rebellion. And you've got a Republican saying it's a coup attempt. Perfect grounds to invoke the Insurrection Act. The only issue, Donald Trump is currently the president. Let's not waste any time. I want to show you what's going on. As per usual, before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give. Please consider sharing this video to let people know what is going on, and I will show you a series of photos, some video clips, tweets, and news updates as to what is happening in the Capitol. By the time you are watching this video, there are probably way more updates. We will be live tonight at youtube.com/TimCastIRL, 8 p.m., going over the latest videos and developments on what is happening right now. But my friends, please let everyone know. Trump supporters have breached the U.S. Capitol building. The rotunda has been tear gassed. According to several reports, there are videos coming from inside the Capitol. I didn't think it. I am shocked, to say the least. So I have this tweet. Adam Kinzinger, a Republican from Illinois, says this is a coup attempt. What main critics are saying about this is that because Donald Trump has not called on his supporters to stop, in fact, he called for them to be here, they are saying that is stochastic terrorism.
Yeah, because it is.
What that means is that Trump knew, that they're implying Trump knew that by calling for his supporters to go to D.C., they would do this.
No shit. Everyone knew this was going to happen who was paying any sort of attention, especially to places like Tim Pool. If they were paying attention to places like the Donald.win or paying attention to what's going on Parler. They had talked about doing this for weeks. For weeks.
And that would shut down the joint session. The joint session of Congress that was taking place, was supposed to count the votes to certify Joe Biden as the winner. There were calls to suspend this while court cases are currently pending. With the latest security breach, Pence, who is presiding as president of the Senate, has been ushered out.
I guess they thought 60 failed court cases wasn't enough. Maybe they need to get up into the 3 digits of failed court cases before they think it's okay to proceed with the normal, everyday election procedures.
Removed. The session has been put in recess, and Chuck Grassley, who would preside in his stead, has also been removed and brought to a secure location. The session has been brought to recess. It is not happening. I don't know when something like this has happened before, but I don't know where we go from here, other than we have a constitutional crisis. It could be resolved tonight. For all we know, the National Guard comes in, clears everything out. Congress comes back, certify Joe Biden's win.
That's right, capitalistic
Which
propaganda.
is exactly what happened.
Or maybe these Trump supporters don't leave. In fact, with what's going on, I can only imagine more Trump supporters will be flocking full speed to D.C.
Tim, how does he still have a channel? He's basically rallying the troops, so to speak.
This is it. And it's true for Antifa as well. Many people don't believe that there will be the political willpower. Like I said over and over again, I did not think the Trump supporters would do anything like this. I thought it would be flag waving and cheering and calls for another chance in the next election. I said previously, just earlier today, I thought that it was going to be, 2022, the Republicans come back and we get a rebound in the House. This is different. People who are seeing this, and this is my fear, people who are witnessing that Trump supporters have made the moves have probably already gotten in their cars and are driving full speed towards D.C. Trump supporters and Antifa alike. From WRC-BTV, protesters at
Antifa.
U.S. Capitol force both the Senate and the House to recess during certification of the Electoral College votes. More than a dozen Senate Republicans and over 100 GOP House members plan to oppose the certification. We have this from The Hill. Capitol placed on lockdown. Buildings evacuated amid protests. Reports are coming in that objects appearing to be pipe bombs have been found. Now, the all clear has been reported by several people, but this is a developing story, so please stay safe. They are ordering shelter in place. Let's start going through some of these tweets. We're just going to go through them. Jake Tapper tweeted, House GOP staffer tells me private residences on Capitol Hill are now being evacuated by Capitol Police. This as of 1:46 p.m. Private residents in the Capitol being evacuated. Jake Gibson tweets, multiple suspicious packages have been found near the Capitol grounds. According to multiple law enforcement officials, at least one of these devices resembled a pipe bomb. According to an official who saw the device, it is not clear yet if these are actually explosive devices. Lauren Pakoff, who is a MSNBC executive producer, tweets, just in from Pete Williams, a member of the U.S. Senate tells NBC News, Vice President Pence and Senator Grassley, the President pro temp, have been taken to a secure location. The doors of the Senate have been closed and locked, and senators have been told to stay away from the doors. Take a look at this video. I now bring you Trump supporters on the balcony breaching the Capitol grounds. And this is just the beginning. This is more. This is a video coming from, it appears to be MSNBC. Jackie Heinrich, who is a Fox News national...
I'm actually legitimately shocked and off-put by the way Tim is talking about this. I didn't watch this video prior to, doing this. I thought he would at least have the decency to pretend that, he was like, oh no, guys, a bunch of Trump supporters broke into the Capitol building. Oh no. I thought he'd at least feign some sort of, and not literally just be like, this is happening. People are going to get in their cars. This is just the beginning. This is fucking sick.
Correspondent tweets, shelter in place now at Longworth, Rayburn buildings due to police activity per message sent by the U.S. Capitol Police. Protesters have torn down a barrier. Fireworks are going off outside the Capitol. People in a tower telling the crowd to press forward, move forward, and we can beat them. Throwing things at police, crowd pushing up, chanting USA, this is unreal. This tweet from Andrew Egger of the Dispatch. There have been reports that tear gas has been deployed outside the grounds, my friends. There have been reports that they have tear gassed inside the rotunda. This is historical. This is absolutely insane. Jessica Valenti, a noted feminist writer, says, never thought I'd see an attempted coup attempt, but here we are. Jasmine Ulloa, she is a writer for the Boston Globe, shows this video where you can see Trump supporters have breached the Capitol. There they are walking in the building. And there's more. Take a look at this photo from the Washingtonian. What you are seeing is people using barricades as ladders to then scale the walls outside the Capitol to get onto the Capitol grounds. I kid you not, Trump...
The irony of Trump supporters climbing a wall to try and overthrow democracy is just too much. It's just too much.
Supporters are scaling...
The writing this season is so sloppy and on the nose.
...a wall to breach the Capitol grounds. We have this tweet here from David Hines. He says, here's something even crazier. The odds are almost 100% that they are doing this without jail support or a bail fund. And he's tweeting in response to Elijah Schaefer. We had Elijah on the show just the other day. He says, breaking, Trump supporters have breached the Capitol building, tearing down 4 layers of security fencing and are attempting to occupy the building. So since then, we have seen them actually make it inside the building. For those that aren't familiar, the leftists and Antifa are typically emboldened by the fact that they have groups like the National Lawyers Guild and the ACLU who have prepared defense for them. And when they get arrested, they get bail and legal support. Numerous organizations collect donations to bail people out. These Trump supporters that are here doing this, they have, I doubt they have any organizational understanding.
There's nothing funny.
You're true on that front. They have no organizational understanding. Saying that they have no plan going into this, I think you're trying to frame it as like, ooh, they're so brave. They have no plans for if they get arrested. When really, they're just stupid. They're just stupid. On top of that, yes, people like Kyle Rittenhouse, they get donations and they get their bail paid for. If these people end up getting caught, the FBI has asked for information if anyone has any on people who were in the building. Nick Fuentes was one of them. I know that for a fact. He took pictures in Nancy Pelosi's office. Either way, it is just stupid. They're being stupid, not brave. Fine line, but they are firmly on the side of stupidity here and not brave.
Of what's to come. There is something interesting in all of this, though. This is federal grounds. These people are storming a federal building. Any and all charges will be federal. And that means Donald Trump does have pardon power. Now, I don't know if that plays a role in this, but it's just something to consider. Trump would need their names and be able to in order to issue these pardons within the next couple of weeks. It's hard to know who these people are and what their names are. They're wearing masks, and the investigations into these individuals, because you can't see their faces, they are not prepared or organized the way Antifa is.
Antifa is the opposite of organized. It's just random people who are anti-fascist.
It is likely that in the coming months, they will start arresting people involved in organizing, people involved.
Honestly, I hope they do, but I have a feeling that almost nothing's going to get done. It's going to be super disappointing. Even people like Nick Fuentes, who we literally have photographic evidence of on his own, like, Twitter and stuff. Nothing will happen.
Supporting this.
I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
And it's going to get absolutely crazy. Jake Tapper says stochastic terrorism. Trump, his Hill allies, and MAGA media lie about the election, and violence follows. I mentioned this earlier, but now I bring it up because I want to point out it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Whether or not Jake Tapper says good or bad, yes or no, right or wrong, is irrelevant. Trump supporters don't believe him. They don't believe the media. And my friends, I warned years ago that the street battles we saw on the ground would make their way to the highest levels of government. And now it's here. Not just with the president, but with his supporters breaching the grounds. When Jake Tapper says that this is stochastic terrorism, that Trump is lying and the violence follows, it's meaningless to a Trump supporter.
Fuck Trump supporters, then. I don't care. It is what it is. A fact is a fact, whether you accept it or not. I am so sick of the right's propensity to just deny reality and think that's a legitimate way to live your life. To think, I can just ignore all facts and develop my own alternate reality that I live in, and that's fine, and that's equally valid to someone who actually tries to understand the truth of the world in which we live. F these people. How ridiculous are these people that they think they can just be like, well, I'm not going to listen to you.
The truth is, the media lies. You have fringe right-wing outlets that write fake news. You have diehard Trump supporters who are conspiracy theorists and believe in correct things. I believe the overwhelming majority of Trump supporters, probably the ones who aren't storming the building, understand what's going on with media lies and the corruption of our institutions. But not enough. They don't believe enough crazy stuff to actually storm a building.
Funny about the tools of
Perhaps this was Lin Wood's real intent. Lin Wood has been is a Trump lawyer, and he's been tweeting very crazy things for some time, and I've heavily criticized him. But he's not been ratioed. Ratioing is when you get more replies than retweets, meaning most people have something to say and don't consider sharing what you've written. Lin Wood has called for the arrest of Mike Pence, calling him a traitor, treason, saying Chief Justice Roberts should be arrested as well. These are unhinged tweets. But when he starts tweeting things, making these accusations, the more diehard zealous of Trump's base are enraged.
Again, you're literally describing stochastic terrorism. You're describing the thing that you're saying Trump supporters aren't going to believe is happening.
And Lin Wood is not directly calling for anything. And I wouldn't imply that. I think you have to be explicit in your calls for violence. But saying that the
dog whistles don't exist. You literally have to say, go do this thing, otherwise it doesn't count. Brilliant.
President or the vice president should be arrested on charges of treason. Do you know what the penalty for treason is? I believe it's death.
Treason wouldn't apply. Treason involves wartime stuff. This wouldn't be treason.
So these are very bold statements. Now you're going to see the most ardent of Trump supporters, not the average Trump supporter, storming into the building and more violence. Currently, many prominent conservatives are saying, stop, don't do this. This is not how we handle this. Steve Scalise, for instance, Dana Lash, many other prominent conservatives are saying it's a big mistake. They're doing it anyway. I believe these people will find themselves in prison. We have more I want to show you. Anna Timmer tweets, they just put up a cross in front of the Capitol building. In this video, you can see that several men have mounted a giant Christian cross. I believe that's the accurate way to phrase.
This was in Michigan's capital, not D.C. capital. This was in front of the Lansing Capitol building.
It, and they've mounted it to a base on the Capitol grounds in front of the Capitol building right there. These are people who are fighting for what they believe is being destroyed. Whether you like them or not, whether they're right or wrong, they are coming here to assert what they want. In one tweet from Julio Rosas, he says, Capitol Police are using flashbangs to try to get the Trump crowd to disperse. This was before, of course, everyone actually started making their way into the building. Burgess Everett on Twitter, he is a Politico co-congressional bureau chief, says, audio message plays in Capitol building. Stay away from windows and doors. Kind of unsettling. And in a tweet from Timothy Burke, we can see multiple officers are being carried away after being injured. My friends, I'm shocked. I am absolutely shocked going through this. And as I'm recording this, my concern is that there's so much more happening. By the time you watch this video is out of date. We will probably end up going live early over at youtube.com/TimCastIRL. I had been saying that I plan to go down to DC, but didn't.
What's this? Someone said they were throwing someone under the bus. Wow, this is short.
I am here to deliver this message on behalf of the entire White House. Let me be clear. The violence we saw yesterday at our nation's capital was appalling, reprehensible, and antithetical to the American way. We condemn it, the president and this administration, in the strongest possible terms. It is unacceptable, and those that broke the law should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I stood here at this podium the day after a historic church burned amid violent riots, and I said this: the First Amendment guarantees the right of the people to peaceably assemble. What we saw last night in Washington and across the country was not that, end quote. Make no mistake, what we saw yesterday afternoon in the halls of our Capitol likewise was not that. We grieve for the loss of life and those injured, and we hold them in our prayers and close to our hearts at this time. We thank our valiant law enforcement officers who are true American heroes. What we saw yesterday was a group of violent rioters undermining the legitimate First Amendment rights of the many thousands who came to peacefully have their voices heard in our nation's capital. Those who violently besieged our capital are the opposite of everything this administration stands for.
I wonder how the idiots who stormed the Capitol feel after seeing this. I hope they see it.
That's right.
And see that Daddy Trump isn't backing up their bullshit.
The core value of our administration is the idea that all citizens have the right to live in safety, peace, and freedom. Those who are working in this building are working to ensure an orderly transition of power. Now it is time for America to unite, to come together.
I wonder if Trump tried to argue against this statement being put out. Because I guarantee he doesn't give a shit. I'm sure he was completely fine with those people busting into the Capitol building for him. He's a narcissist. They were on his side, so he likes them. He said, "I love you" in the video he did yesterday before Twitter removed it.
To reject the violence that we have seen, we are one American people under God. Thank you very much.
Ridiculous.
Know if what we would end up being able to actually accomplish. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, we probably won't be making it for obvious reasons. But more importantly, I mentioned earlier, there are COVID restrictions. That means we could show up and then I can't even get live and can't even get the show and cover what's going on and tell you what's happening.
Oh, is he explaining why he's not going to go to DC? I trust me, guys. It's not because I'm a coward. I can't go. COVID. Even though I've been downplaying COVID and saying it's not a big deal and that restrictions are stupid, I just can't go because COVID. You know.
Individuals, because of this, won't be able to get through security perimeters, nor because of the lockdowns in security and COVID, will they be able to even get to the building to do the show. It probably makes very little sense for us to get down at this point. But most importantly, the safety of the people who work with me is paramount. I'd be more than willing to risk my own safety and security, but we have several other people involved in the show. And
then just go yourself, Tim. I saw plenty of people. We were watching their streams yesterday who just had the phone and themselves, and they were reporting from the Capitol. Why can't you do that, Tim?
Can't tell them to come down and enter a dangerous situation like this. It just doesn't seem reasonable. It doesn't seem feasible. So I'm going to be watching.
I'm gonna incite all of you to go and commit felonies, federal felonies, and break into the Capitol building. But then I'm gonna stay at home and just talk about it. Oh, what a grift. What a grift.
Nonstop. We're going to be tracking the news, and I am going to have the show probably early, live, youtube.com/timcast.irl. But let's talk a little bit about this. I want to read you just some from the WRCB TV story. I wanted to get through as much as possible of what was happening, show you here, and then I want to talk about what Mike Pence has said and give you the official statement from Pence as to why this may have all started. WRCB TV says protesters have entered the Capitol, both chambers, and they've mounted on the steps. Okay, so I don't need to go through this. I think the title is the title. This is the big news from this morning, from this afternoon at 1 p.m. Initially, I was planning on doing a segment. I thought I was going to be watching C-SPAN all day as they had their objections, and then Mike Pence says Biden's the winner, and that's my prediction. Isn't it amazing how wrong I've been?
It's not that amazing after your track record, but I'm glad you're getting a little self-awareness. That's nice.
I was saying for a long time I thought the Democrats would win, and then changed because I saw the polls said I think the Republicans are going to win Georgia. Wrong. Then I said it's going to be a boring approval and certification by Pence. Wrong. And there it is. Wrong. I tell you, my friends, I'm wrong a lot. I am not pretending to be a psychic. I can read you the news, give you my opinions, but I'll tell you what I was right about. The escalation. And the people who are tired of this, whose lives have been destroyed by the lockdowns, the unconstitutional edict taking away their right to worship. No surprise.
It's not unconstitutional to ban all gatherings above a certain size just because churches happen to fall into that. That's not religious discrimination because it applies to everyone.
Put up a cross in front of the Capitol building. Nothing. Trump, I believe there's nothing Trump could say to stop them at this point. It is more than Trump. It is beyond Trump. But this was the main story that I intended to cover. And let me just read. Pence says he doesn't have the power to reject electoral votes.
And he doesn't. His role is ceremonial, especially if you watched it. It's very just... it's a lot of repetition, and it's basically just certifying the results. They do not have the leeway for him to just decide that he doesn't want to accept those results. That's not how it works.
President Pence said on Wednesday he does not have this power, saying his role is largely ceremonial. In a letter to Congress released as Trump urged him in a speech to take steps to overturn the election, Pence said, "It is my considered judgment that my oath to support and defend the Constitution constrains me from claiming unilateral authority to determine which electoral votes should be counted and which should not." Well, that's the gist of the story, I suppose. They may have an update here. They do. Here we go. Trump's ongoing refusal to concede in the race, despite having lost both the popular and electoral vote, has animated much of his base. Despite Republicans' calls to dismiss millions of legal votes, Pence wrote that he would keep the oath he made to the American people by upholding the Constitution to the best of his ability. That, he said, included ensuring that all formal objections to the certification process were heard. Upon hearing that, it was shortly after that Trump supporters breached the Capitol. I think there may be a reason why there's particular anger among Trump supporters in the Capitol right now.
Because they've been incited to violence and whipped up into a frenzy by grifters like you? I'd say it's probably that.
The Democrats are projected to be the winners of the race, the Senate runoff in Georgia, giving them a simple majority in the Senate. They'll have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. This allows them to pack the Supreme Court.
Yay! And by pack the Supreme Court, they mean adding additional seats to the Supreme Court, which would be great. Please do that.
Presumably, Joe Manchin may object and block them on some of these more radical proposals, but it does give them control. Mike Pence then came out and said he won't support the president, and thus you have very angry Trump supporters. Images have emerged showing the total vote count between Perdue and Ossoff in Georgia. That's the Perdue being the Republican, Ossoff being the Democrat. And just like we saw with Joe Biden, around late in the night, we saw that even though
here come the conspiracy theories,
Perdue was winning with both lines going up, Ossoff just jumps straight up and then it moves forward.
Because they count the urban districts last, because they take the longest amount of time. Urban districts, like the district Atlanta is in, is coming in last, and they're going to vote heavily Democratic.
Like normal. A strange, anomalous jump that...
It's not anomalous. This isn't even new, this election cycle. These idiots just decided to point it out this election cycle and claim that it's sus, even though it always happens.
People don't have an explanation for giving giving Ossoff the victory. And because of things like that, people do not trust these elections. They do not trust the results, and they finally snapped. I was warning about this. I've warned some time about the escalation, and you're familiar with that. There have been many things I've gotten wrong, and there have been many things I've gotten right. I have no problem saying that I'm not a psychic and I get things wrong. If it's a 50-50, well, then I guess I'm fine, right? But one thing I warned about was that what we saw with George Floyd and the riots across this country was undirected, unorganized, uncontrolled. People were angry. Now, they say they were angry because of George Floyd, but many contended that a lot of the anger came from being locked up.
Oh, no! No, they were not lockdown protests, you idiot.
Having their jobs taken away, becoming desperate, and getting no support from Congress.
Great. Just undercut the entire point of the Black Lives Matter protests by lying about the purpose of them. Good job, Tim.
That intensified the riots. But they were rioting against just the police, and generally just looting and burning in many places. Trump supporters may not be organized, but they're substantially more focused. When you look at the charts showing the breakdown of the Democrat and Republican Party, you can see Democrats are very spread out, meaning a wide range of leftist to moderate issues. The Republicans are much more centralized.
They tend to be far right.
Republicans see these lockdowns will persist. With control going to Democrats, there will be years of lockdowns. That's what Bill Gates and Fauci have both said. Before anything goes to normal, it'll be years. Ossoff, Joe Biden's advisor, said 6 weeks of a national lockdown and mask mandate. You have Trump supporters whose jobs, whose businesses, everything have been stripped away and destroyed by the lockdowns. And they blame the government and predominantly the Democrats. Their anger is similar to the lockdown anger we saw from the left, but much more focused and being directed explicitly at Congress and the joint session. I have no idea what to expect from a recess in the joint session. I don't want to give any hard predictions because it would be absurd, but let me just say, part of me thinks the National Guard will come in. These people will be removed. There will be a return to the session of Congress, and then we will see Joe Biden certified. But I thought Mike Pence was going to do it, and I was wrong about that too. It could be that, as Majid Nawaz said, by tomorrow, Wisconsin votes to decertify. That would be insane. What would happen? What would happen now after the Trump supporters breached the building, tear gas fired, members of Congress cracking open tear gas mask bags to mask up? What would happen if Trump actually does end up getting a constitutional victory only because of the Trump supporters?
How would that work? How do you think a bunch of people breaking into the Capitol building is going to lead to Wisconsin decertifying its electoral votes? I don't see the A to B there.
This is crazy.
Maybe I don't wear enough beanies to understand that big brain take.
You know, I said the other day that what if so many Trump supporters show up, they can't have the joint session? What do we do? Who is president? It would likely fall to Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. That's what many people have predicted. Earlier this morning, I thought I was wrong. The Trump supporters aren't going to show up in large enough numbers nor take any action to shut this down. And I'm glad to say that this time I was actually right. I mean, I don't want to pretend like I'm all that smart or all the time. I'm just reading the news, same as most of you. But last night I really did believe nothing would happen, and I said, "But what if?" and that what if came true.
And he's happy that it happened. Lovely.
I won't lie. In the past year, I've bought many guns. Right now on Twitter, leftists are saying they're going to be buying weapons and training because the Trump people are going crazy. I'm not concerned about any one political faction in terms of my personal safety. I'm concerned about my personal safety in general. Of course, I obviously have more concerns about the left, Antifa, than I do about Trump supporters. You see, they focus on the Capitol building, on politics. The left was focused on businesses. My bigger question, though, is leftists were making jokes about guillotines for the elites in the ruling class. Were they serious, or are they now going to oppose the Trump supporters who are storming the Capitol building?
The Trump people aren't storming the Capitol building to, like, try and, how do I put this, establish some new social order in which it's more egalitarian and that wealthy elites don't get to decide things. They were attempting to overthrow democracy because their fashy daddy didn't win an election. Again, it's not just about actions, it's about the intent and end goal of said actions.
Isn't this what Antifa wanted? This is what worries me. What happens
No, Antifa wanted fascists to go away. It's in the name.
If it is, and they go in and then it breaks this country? What happens if we actually are entering some kind of civil war?
There it is. Take a shot.
Is it all that crazy now? To all the people who said it was silly and absurd to talk about getting emergency food supplies. I'm not even talking about serious prepping. I'm not even talking about building a bunker. I was just saying, look, sometimes it rains, you know, and when it does, you know, the roads close. So you have some food just in case. Maybe don't need it, but, you know, it lasts for 25 years. And they mocked me. They said, where's the civil war, Tim? Where's the chaos? Where's the conflict? This could all end. And I said that before, remember? Remember when I said this? Maybe the escalation ends here. Maybe it all just goes back to normal and everyone smiles and Joe Biden becomes president. But I don't think so, right? Now I'm sitting here in my room rather freaked out that we just saw Trump supporters shatter the windows of the Capitol building, breach the building, and then the police fired tear gas in the rotunda as they're making their way to the main chamber. I don't know where it's all going on right now as I record this video. But my friends, stay safe, stay vigilant, and I'll stress it one more time. YouTube.com/TimCastIRL live. We'll be live very, very shortly after the publication of this video. I just don't know. Maybe it ends here. Maybe by the time I'm done recording, I go back to Twitter and they're like, the Trump supporters have been cleared out. The National Guard has regained control. Joe Biden is president. I believe if that's the case, there will be a crackdown on the internet. There will be a termination of websites like Parler. It will be swift and fierce. My friends, you need to understand that breaching the Capitol is not like someone smashing the window from of a Louis Vuitton and stealing a bag. We are talking about one of the most secure buildings in our country, one of the most important, being breached by American citizens, for better or for worse. The crackdown, I believe, if this gambit fails, will be severe. We will hear from Joe Biden that those who supported Trump, there's going to be truth and reconciliation commissions. They're going to come after a lot of people. I think they'll go after websites like Parler. The DNS will shut them down, and the Great Reset is underway. I don't know what's to come next. I don't. I'm not psychic. Stay safe. Get ready. Something's happening. Thanks for hanging out. YouTube.com/TimCastIRL, and I will see you later tonight live.
YouTube, can we ban Tim Pool yet? Seems like he's, you know, on the side of the terrorists. Just want to point that out. Let me see what these comments are. We'll sort by newest. Political violence is never a good thing, but at the same time, the left normalized political violence over the last year. Funny how tunes change the instant the violence is against your cause, the cause being the carrying out of democracy. Funny how that works. The Tim Pool is just as guilty of inciting insurrection as our president. My husband is a huge fan of Mr. Pool. I listen to him daily, but for the first time I am speaking out. No Trump supporter is going to take power. Martial law will not be needed. The thousands of people are a cowardly group and are not going to personally suffer for this cause. Did you see them run when the National Guard came? I've never been more proud to be an American when our representatives stood up for us and were not chased from our capital. Thank you, Mitch McConnell, Vice President Pence, Lindsey Graham, and Tim Pool. Oh, and to Tim Pool, I hear in your voice your glee at this event where 4 Trump supporters and most likely your listeners died. I can only hope that your listeners understand that you are happy these people are dead. May God speak to your heart and drive all evil out of it. Ooh. Ooh. Some of this is on you, Timmy. I'm shocked. Why, Tim? You're responsible for these cockroaches. Tim has been gleefully predicting and justifying a civil war. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Tim Pool's such trash. I hate him. Anyway, enough of Tim Pool being wrong. Let's move on. I'm getting to bits messages. I gotta go see where the last one I did was. Top-hatted Tanker, thank you for subscribing. Rublum, thank you for following. Felix Night Owl, thank you for subscribing. Pyromancer says, Tim Pool and being completely wrong. Name a more iconic duo. Quig the Chig, thank you for following. EO and 80. I can't wait for these people to realize just how little the Dems will do with all 3 houses to themselves. They'll just go back to normal while minorities and members of the LGBT plus community still have to live in fear. Wing the Ultimate Nug, we know they brought a lot of guns. This could have been more deadly even if they failed. Yeah. Pyromancer, what else would you expect from 50-state landside Tim Pool? Casual Snark, Google defines a coup as a sudden, violent, and illegal seizure of power from a government. Armies aren't required. Okay. Vlad Tepes 1234.5, thanks for following. Doom Smoothie, terrifying that domestic terrorists can get semi-automatic rifles and wave them around under the pretense of patriotism. Fascism runs deep in America's veins, but this is just a lot. Yeah, it's crazy. Show Me the Orbs, thank you for resubscribing, says, hello, hello, ooh, watching Tim Pool. Reblum, thank you for gifting a sub. Quig the Chig, thank you for subscribing. Casual Snark, the MAGA show is just like Game of Thrones. The final 2 weeks are going to be such a train wreck. Madam Smash Your Face In. What's the link to the Animaniacs song? Oh, I already closed it. If you just Google, like, Animaniacs, Mace, you might find it. I don't know. Canadian left support with 20 bits. What scares me is the one guy who took a photo in Nancy Pelosi's office said to interviewers that he was a white nationalist and he was born into this world crying and covered in blood and he's willing to go out that way. Yeah, what a loser. Show Me the Orbs with 30 bits. Imagine this. What if feds put up an ad like, protesters register here for guaranteed Trump pardon, and then they self-dox into that? That would surprisingly probably work. Rublum, thank you for gifting some subs. Creeping Darkness with 20 bits and a link that it's to... Oh, we watched that link. It was when the press secretary threw him under the bus. Wing the Ultimate Nug. Wait, they have crosses and gallows? They wanted to crucify and hang politicians? No, the cross was at a different location. That was at the Michigan State House. It was just symbolic of Christianity. Gwyn Hawk, thank you for following. Pyromancer, really tired of how many of these government officials in the last 2 days have invoked God in some way. Yeah. It's the national tragedy slogan, basically, is religious stuff, unfortunately. Quig the Chig with 100 bits. Just want to thank you for getting me through this election. I may not be around in chat a lot. I work when you stream, but much love, Hannah. Oh, thank you.
That's right.
Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. Well, that was a bunch of nothing. Yeah. EO and 80, day 1 versus day 1448 says a lot. Let me see. Can I go find that? Where is that link? Link. I can't find the link. If you want to post it again, I can take a look. Towing24 with 20 bits. I love how more chuds believe in flat earth than the existence of Fulton County, Georgia. Tucker White. Wait, where's the Democratic Party that caters to the hard left issues in right-wing fantasies? And our fantasies, I guess. Tucker White. All right, Hannah, if you're not going to declare it, I will. I hereby declare that Tim Pool doth be trippin'. Wing the Ultimate Nug. We need guillotine statues. Statues, not real ones. Felix Night Owl with 100 bits. He actually thinks Antifa had personal vendettas with Target and other businesses. Wow. Day 1 versus day 1448. Oof. Oh my god. That's a powerful juxtaposition. Jesus Christ. Oof. Yeah. Sad. Major Dub, seriously don't know which side of Hanlon's razor Dim Tool is on. And then Donnie Dio, thank you for following. We're all caught up. Cool. Okay, what about this guy? Doug Tenaple says, we broke the country. This is in regard to, again, the MAGA idiots storming the Capitol yesterday.
Welcome to the divided states of America, and it's not going to get united anytime soon. We are broken apart by values. We're not going to go back under a system that is corrupt.
I'm Doug Tenaple in exile. Like, subscribe, and comment below.
If this was Antifa, that building would be on fire. In fact, it would be left on the ground. There wouldn't be a stone left unturned.
Honestly, that would be impressive considering the Capitol is made of stone, if they actually could burn it to the ground. Antifa working on brand new types of fire that can burn marble.
To make a moral equivalence that this is the same as Antifa, this peaceful protest was the same as Antifa.
If the best thing you can say about an action you took is, well, we didn't burn it to the ground, maybe take a step back and think about whether or not the thing you did was okay. Just a thought.
Is morally ignorant. This protest cannot be laid at the feet of Trump. He was reflecting the will of the people. We're still fans of the Constitution. The problem is,
we're fans of the Constitution, except when we lose an election, then we need to overthrow the government because we don't like when we lose elections. Here's the thing. If we have elections, and then when you get an answer you don't like personally, you decide that elections aren't good anymore and that we need to overthrow them, then we don't actually have an election. We have a dictatorship with a layer of thin election-colored paint over the top of it.
As people act like the lawlessness started today. No, today was not an isolated event.
That's right.
If you respect the Constitution, where were you at when so many of these states changed their laws in violation of the Constitution?
Their changing of their election laws to allow for universal mail-in voting during a global pandemic is not against their constitutions. Their state Supreme Courts have already ruled on this. We read the Pennsylvania thing about this.
All of these never-Trumpers were quiet. They were okay with that complete corruption, the shredding of the Constitution. And then today, when some protesters breach these boundaries and trespass onto the Capitol building.
Broke and entered. They broke and entered. They didn't just trespass. Trespass is like if your door is open and I walk into your house. That's trespassing. Breaking and entering is when the doors are locked and I break a window or I break the door to get in. It's more severe.
People act like they were Antifa, burning Portland to the ground. Anyone who makes that...
Let's see what Portland looks like today. Portland 2021. Portland. Those are from 2020. Here's just a street in Portland. There's some tear gas. No, that's a fire, but it's in the middle of the street. We have someone jumping a fence. Oh, there's Portland. That sure looks burnt to the ground. Portland. Portland. That's University of Maine. Portland. Wow, guys. Portland looks shockingly good after it got burned to the ground. Crazy how that worked, right? Remember when all the Portland refugees left because the entire city was burned to the ground?
Moral equivalent argument is a moral idiot, and a ton of Republicans are doing it. I don't have anything to say to Democrats. They're off serving donuts on Mars, so they're not my concern.
Off serving donuts on Mars. I'm not even sure what that insult is supposed to mean.
It was the Republican Party. The Republican Party, I am going to leave. I'm going to register as a who knows what, but I'm not going to be a Republican anymore.
Right on. Please don't vote for Republicans. Oh no, I mean no. Oh God, what will we do if the Republican Party splits and all the Trump people don't vote for Republicans? Ooh.
Because there is no Republican Party. They've been compromised, sold out. They're not going to win an election again. They will never win a presidency again.
I find that hard to believe. I remember after George W. Bush left, I heard a lot of people basically say the same thing, that they thought, oh, no Republican president will ever get elected again. And then we got Trump, who was worse in some ways. I guess it depends. You have a war criminal against a fascist. I don't know. It's kind of...
Your legacy for turning a blind eye to the Constitution being violated back at the last election. I think Pence is a good man. I don't believe he's a traitor, and I've heard that from a lot of people in my camp. I believe he's a good man who decided by his conscience. His problem, like many people on the right, including many Christians, is they're so naive to human evil that they just don't believe it. And they think a piece of paper like the Constitution is going to save them. It's not. In the end, if the American people...
He has to follow... Again, I understand that there are people who don't follow the Constitution, even though they should. But at the very least, the bar is so low. Pence followed his job yesterday. It doesn't matter if he thinks it's wrong or not. What matters is that he followed the Constitution and carried out his role. It wasn't his job to decide which, electors get counted. That's not how it works.
Are not submitted with their hearts for freedom and for justice and for the honesty of the Constitution, it will never be upheld. The right didn't shred the Constitution today. The feckless, mushy middle never-Trumpers who have always hated the population.
We didn't shred the Constitution by trying to overthrow the results of a democratic election and invade the Capitol building with weapons. Other people did by not doing that. Not sure I follow.
They're the ones who abandoned it first. Once you set up a precedent of undermining that amazing, near miraculous document, it's very hard to put it back together. I have a humility about the future in that I don't know what's going to happen. Once again, none of us know what's going to happen. I think Trump is right to call for peace. I think we should always advocate for peace and that we should not be quick to violence. But the system's broken. It doesn't look good for how to fix it. You can't fix a corrupt voting system by having more elections. I believe in...
By the way, you still haven't established the voting system is corrupt in any way. Over 60 court cases, all of them lost. You never presented any evidence that actually showed any sort of voter fraud changed the results of the election in any way, or that there was any widespread voter fraud to begin with. You're just claiming it because you lost and you're butthurt about it.
The American patriot, the good Americans, as G.K. Chesterton said, who love their country enough to reform it. This country needs a reformation. The country is not going to get put back to the glory days of Mitch McConnell. Those days are gone.
I'm Doug Tenaple in exile. Like, subscribe.
I like when the right-wingers have, like, it's always like ooh, rich mahogany, or it's like, I do cigars, or I have whiskey, and that's like their personality. Very funny.
Welcome to the divide.
Oh, this is the guy that did Earthworm Jim or something? Welcome to the Doug Show. Doug Tenaple is best known for the video game character Earthworm Jim. He has authored over 16 graphic novels. One became Nickelodeon's Cat Scratch. Doug talks... Oh, no. Poor Earthworm Jim.
Welcome to the divided state.
Your creator is an idiot. That's a shame. Anyway, that's a short one, but Earthworm Jim guy's a jackass. Link2674, thank you for following. Pinker Bell Pixie, thank you for following. Shady Shroomy says Antifa can melt Marvel beams. Ender92, if these people say peaceful protest one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Breaking windows and committing federal crimes is not peaceful. Casuals Narc with 20 bits. He's an exile, all right. Exiled from reality. Antipodian Squid with 100 bits. I wish I was serving donuts on Mars, but not to Elon. In other news, good morning, fam. By the way, Elon is now the richest person on the planet again. Gross. Tucker White says, Amendment Clause... Oh, but Hannah, the 69th Amendment, Clause 666 says, states shall not change election laws to allow more mail-in voting. James Madison personally signed into law with his own blood. EO&80 with 20 bits. Okay, I have some new Where's Waldo idea, except you have to find the Antifa members among the right-wing domestic terrorists. See if you are a sane person. There's no Antifa, but if you're a right-winger, you're circling everyone in the picture. Dubert, thank you for following. Game Fiction, thank you for following. Quig the Chig with 100 bits. Have some bits to celebrate. I'm off work and can now turn up the volume and actually listen. Right on, thank you. Felix Night Owl says, do we all get to throw tantrums and get treated with restraint and de-escalation by cops from now on, or just anti-Semites and neo-Nazis with Confederate flags? I think you know the answer to that. The Creeping Darkness with 20 bits. Fun Trump impression. Let me see. Come on. Work, please.
Now, I know you're angry, but go home, come home and get in our big bed. You can come into the master bedroom and lay with me in the big, nice bed if you go home right now. Everything was stolen. You have every right to be violent, but don't be violent. I know that you're angry right now, but don't do karate chops and don't do spin kick. And don't do punches or any of it, but do guns and do knives. But go home and come home with me. Listen, you are a special boy. You're beautiful, and Daddy loves you very much. And your Daddy loves you an extremely great deal. And if you go home right now, I promise you, you can have a Lego set. If you go home right now, we're going to, you know what, on the way home, for us to get in a big bed together, and we are going to watch SpongeBob movie. SpongeBob movie. On the way home, we're going to stop by Target, and you can pick out a Lego set up to $30 this time. And everybody knows that $30 got you a pretty kick-ass Lego set in the 90s, okay? And I know it's a smaller Lego set these days, but it's at least a car, a spaceship, a vehicle with 2 minifigures, okay? $29.99 and not a penny more, but you can go and pick it out. You can pick out which one you want. And if you want to do 2 $15 Lego sets, that's fine with me. Sometimes it feels like you get more bang for your buck. But you're a very special boy, and I love you. And you can get in the bed with us tonight until 9:30. And then you've got to go back to your own room. But you're very important to us, okay? We're going to watch. I'll let you watch PG-13 tonight. We're going to do a big PG-13. But you've got to sleep in your own bed after 9:30. Go home. Continue to blow everything up and be super pissed off. You have every reason to. But go home and you will get Lego set and we will watch movie.
That might be, I don't know. That's a really good Trump impression. Like, I don't know what the quality is. Here's a link if you want that. I don't know what it is about that impression, but it captured Trump in a way I don't normally see Trump impressions do. Very interesting. Okay, let me see. Where did I leave off? Innsmouth Swim Team. Dagon loves to eat the rich. They're well marbled. Quasi Shuffle Kitty, thank you for resubscribing with a 2-month streak, says ooh 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 ooh. Doom Smoothie says just hurt myself while whittling. Doesn't hurt much, so I think that's funny. Oh, sorry. Be careful with your whittling. The Creeping Darkness. Eric Trump probably listened to this to fall asleep. It's probably the last time his dad talked to him. It's probably the 90s. So yeah, he probably listens to it. Okay. Let's see what Bryson Gray has to say. Bryson Gray is a MAGA rapper who was at the DC rally yesterday where Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building. And now he's going to talk about it. So let's see.
Listen, before I'll actually tell you what's actually happening in DC, I want to address people on Twitter on a few things. For one, I'm disappointed in social media MAGA tonight. And I'm not talking about MAGA that's out here in the streets, because we're out here in the streets. But the people that claim MAGA on social media, that's searching for somebody to blame for Patriots storming the Capitol building. Y'all looking for somebody to blame. Oh, this person was Antifa. Oh, this person was Antifa. Shut up. And I'm saying shut up for multiple reasons. That Viking guy that dresses like a Viking that y'all think is an Antifa member, he's a popular person in the Q community.
I like that Bryson's like, hey, stop it. It wasn't Antifa. We did that. I mean, he's right, but I do like that even he, who was there, who probably wants some credit for this felony, he's like, hey, stop trying to give credit to Antifa. I did that crime, okay? We did that crime fair and square.
He's like some shaman. He do some shaman religion. He is very weird. Do not confuse it. He's very weird. But he's a Q person that y'all trying to say he's Antifa. He wasn't protesting with Black Lives Matter. He was at the Black Lives Matter rally. He was at the Black Lives Matter place with a Q sent me sign far away from Black Lives Matter, protesting against them. And I don't really support this guy because I'm a Christian and I don't support his religion. But what I don't support is y'all lying on somebody. And the reason y'all are lying on somebody is because y'all want to blame somebody else for storming the Capitol building. And just to be clear, the guy that actually broke the windows first, storming the Capitol, he's a fan of mine, and he actually showed me the video of him doing it. There were Trump supporters in the Capitol. Right, capitalistic propaganda. There were Trump supporters in the Capitol.
This is a good video, actually, to show someone who thinks that Antifa was the ones who actually did this. Someone, if you want a link to this to send to anyone to be like, hey, this guy's like known in the community. He was there and he said, no, it's not Antifa.
We are really out here in the streets fighting for this country. And y'all are on Twitter finding somebody to blame other than supporting us. And Jonathan Hamilton, thank you so much for the $5. Yes, RIP to the girl that passed away, that got shot by Secret Service. Another thing y'all need to know about the, y'all are here blaming Antifa for everything. This guy's popular. Go look him up. Y'all are literally trying to ruin a man's life for what? Yes, that was Patriots storming the Capitol.
I think he probably ruined his own life by committing a federal felony by breaking into the Capitol building, but sure, if you think being labeled as anti-fascist is somehow worse than being caught on camera committing federal felonies, great, sure, fine, whatever.
And I know what I was saying, let me tell you something. Stop comparing what happened today to what BLM does and to what Antifa does. We didn't go to no restaurant. We didn't go to no clothing store. We didn't go to Target. We weren't looting and burning down local businesses. That's not what we was doing.
We were looting and threatening people at the state capitol. That's very different. This is a wild claim that I've seen from several people on the right. We didn't go burn down a Target. Like, yeah, you tried to overthrow American democracy. You get that that's worse, right? Please tell me you understand that that's worse. I don't give a shit about the local Target getting burned down, but you bet I care if people try and overthrow the government to install a dictator. That's worse. Jesus.
Jasmine W., thanks for the $10. That's not what we were doing. We went to the people we were angry at. That Capitol building is a public building paid for with our tax dollars.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean you're allowed in whenever you want. That's not how it works.
Everybody that works in that Capitol building are paid by our tax dollars.
And that doesn't really matter either. And frankly, a lot of the people in that building make a lot more money on insider trading than they do with the money they actually get paid for the job. But, you know, that's neither here nor there.
And we didn't kill nobody. We didn't shoot nobody. We didn't do any of that. We didn't stab anybody. No. That is not what happened. We went in there, and the only person that was shot was a Trump supporter, and she was 17 years old. And it was...
She was not 17 years old. She was a 17-year... He's confusing this. She was in the Air Force for 17 years or something like that. Or 14 years. I don't remember what it was. But she was an adult. She was not 17 years old.
It was on camera. A lot of people told us about it before it was reported to y'all. And the sad part about it is...
Yeah, she'd been in the Air Force for 14 years, so she would have been at least, let's see, 32, assuming she joined the Air Force as soon as she could.
All of y'all that are trying to put these rumors on people. Y'all trying to make up reasons why things happen. Ryan Lugo, thank you so much for the $20. Y'all trying to make all this up. Y'all are not out here. We out here. Y'all not out here. Y'all making up rumors, and y'all think we're making Trump look bad. Oh, y'all are making MAGA look bad, lying on somebody. That Q dude, he is weird. He always wear that Viking stuff with his shirt off. But he is out here protesting every single event. He is a known person in the Q community. Y'all are out here trying to ruin this man's thing so y'all can blame something on Antifa. Norma Jess, thank you for the 10. And the reason it's so irrelevant, because let's say if he was Antifa, there was hundreds and hundreds of Trump supporters actually inside the building. So let's say if Antifa actually the people that broke through the window down.
There's nothing funny about
Trump supporters are all through there. So it doesn't make sense. Andrew, thank you for the 5. And then y'all influencers on here criticizing patriots for what happened today. By the way, I'm out here, and I was in the streets. I was at the Capitol. Wickster with the $50. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. And it's so sad to me because y'all are condemning what we are doing, which y'all condemning what we're doing out here, which is actually fighting for the country, actually being in the streets. That means y'all are...
You're not fighting for the country. You're fighting for Donald Trump. You're fighting for your particular candidate that you like that lost in order to install them as a dictator. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Condemning our founding fathers. That means y'all condemning 1776. That means y'all condemning everything this country is built upon in the first place. Jake, thank you for the $5. Wasn't there all kinds of pics of Antifa and Trump clothes? Let me tell y'all something. No. Joshua, thank you for the $5. And I'm not saying there wasn't any Antifa out there. But I'm going to let y'all know. The police let patriots in the Capitol building. They just let them, they open up and let them in. That Viking guy is not Antifa. Okay? He's a weird shaman dude. I don't know what he do some type of weird religion. But he is not Antifa. He's a Q guy.
So that's the weird religion he's into?
$5 from Jackson said people were really saying they were violent, and these celebs posting saying Trump. Listen, how are we violent? Show me one person that got harmed by a Trump supporter tonight. You say he's a witch? Yeah, he does magic and stuff. Yeah, he is a witch. He has a YouTube, y'all. He's not an Antifa, but he is like, yeah, you know.
He's probably a warlock, not a witch.
Toxicity with the $15. This all gets super twisted. Thank you for the 15, bro. Just kidding. He's not a witch. You crazy? Have you?
That's right. Okay. Capitalistic
no
propaganda.
comment. But listen, Amy with the $5, 1776. Exactly. So when y'all say things like y'all condemn what we was doing, that mean y'all condemning our founding fathers. Do y'all know what 1776 was about? Matter of fact, if people didn't fight, we would still be a part of Great Britain.
No, we wouldn't, because Canada isn't, Australia isn't, India isn't. The British Empire broke apart over time. America, if we hadn't engaged in the Revolutionary War, still would have ended up its own thing at some point.
As you best say, I was at the Capitol. Lots of patriots, bumping Bryson and Tyson. Thank you so much. I was at the Capitol too, man. And a lot of people showed me videos of them in the Capitol. Another Trump supporter took a baseball out of one of their offices. You know, Secret Service shot the lady, yeah.
And he just admitted to knowing about another crime. I'm pretty sure stealing something from a senator's office is probably a crime. I mean, it's definitely a crime to steal in the first place, but I don't know if stealing something off of federal property is any higher than just normal larceny. I don't know.
And it got to the point where somebody said, because a lot of pages, that guy who wears the Viking stuff, he was out there taking pictures with everybody and wanted a picture of me and Forgiato. So we took a picture with him. Jocelyn, thank you for the 10.
Did he just admit to being in the Capitol building? The FBI is taking tips for people that were in the building. So, someone want to send this to the FBI? We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And I posted a picture because everybody was like, he was Antifa, so I posted a picture, and they was like, Bryson is Antifa. Bryson is Antifa. And people actually were believing that. I am so disappointed in MAGA because y'all making us look like all conspiracy theorists now. Like, I hate the word conspiracy theorists, but when y'all start saying people in Antifa that y'all don't know nothing, y'all don't know nothing because y'all never at Trump events, y'all never pop out in the streets, and y'all sitting trying to call random people Antifa. Then trying to say Bryson is Antifa. Have you lost your dang old mind? Do you know how much I sacrificed enough for this movement? Don't ever do that ever in your life. Andrew Watson, thank you so much for the $5. Y'all are taking this too far, all just to try to demonize the actions that were done tonight. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt. Toxicity with another $15. I'm 12. Couldn't really go. No, a lot of people couldn't come. That's different than people that was in DC.
That's not even true, by the way. A bunch of cops were injured. For the record, no cops died, but they did get injured because they were fighting the MAGA people. There were videos of them getting into fights. Like, it was a whole thing.
And didn't come. Thank you so much for the 5. 1776 is built upon us fighting. Stop talking about you. Do you know what a patriot means? Being a patriot means you're willing to defend this country against enemies. So
you consider your political rivals enemies, though, and when they win, you consider it an affront to your liberty in some way, when it's not. That's just how democracy works. That's the problem. The problem is you're using definitions incredibly loosely and using them to shape a narrative that makes you feel like a good person when you're not. You are doing terrible actions on other people and engaging in seditious activity, and you've warped reality to the extent that you've somehow casted yourself in the role of the hero instead of the awful person you are. It's just crazy.
Someone got killed, yes. A lady got killed, but she was a Trump supporter that got killed. And RP to her, I said that literally when I first got on my live. I said, we didn't hurt nobody. That's what I said. We didn't hurt anybody.
Untrue.
And a girl got shot. She was 17. She got shot.
She was not 17. She was in her 30s.
Josh was probably with the $10 like the president. A girl got shot by a cop. Yes. That is correct. No, I think she got shot in her neck from the video I saw.
But 3 other people died too. I haven't heard definitive stuff, but there was a rumor, and this is just a rumor, that one Trump supporter accidentally tased themselves and gave themselves a heart attack or something. Or, you know, they did something that effed them up. There was another one that, you saw some of the people climbing on the Capitol building. One of them supposedly fell and died. And then there was another person who maybe had a heart attack after a flashbang went off and it scared them. And it gave him a heart attack. Those are what I've heard. Those aren't confirmed necessarily.
But the problem of all this is, stop talking about stuff y'all don't know about. And A lot of people say that we are out here, the ones that actually are fighting for our country and fighting for our freedoms in the streets. Y'all saying we making conservatives look bad, but no, the people that are making conservatives look bad are the people that's on Twitter talking about something they have nothing to do about, ruining somebody's life, and then trying to call and then trying to call everybody that disagrees with them. Oh, maybe you're Antifa too. Y'all are clowns. Push through life for $10. Thank you so much. Viking got Q and I. Yeah, that's him. Jasmine with the $5. I post on Facebook. Making up all types of stories and not supporting the people fighting, especially the people that are saying we were violent when we weren't violent at all. None of us were violent. Yeah, people.
Completely untrue. Hold on. Doon 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 doon. Can we get some footage of the fights? That would be great.
Had the opportunity
That's
to
live,
condemn
I think.
this.
That's that. That's that. This is just them climbing up. Need a video of the fights because I saw them yesterday. Here we go. We didn't hurt anyone. Attacking the police.
Fucking pussies! How you doing, pepper spray? Fucking pussies! Fucking pussies! How you doing, pepper spray?
And then when they actually got in the building, they fought some people as well. I saw a video of it.
I think a lot of people will clear the president had incited these actions from his supporters. Just earlier in the day, that day, he was at that rally encouraging people to.
One sec. I think I have it in my Twitter DMs, but I don't want you guys to see. So let me open it up. It's somewhere in here. Maybe she didn't send that to me. I wonder where I saw that. Because I know I saw a video of them in there actually, like, trying to fist fight the cops. Let me see if I can find it under videos, maybe. Okay, I can't find it right now, but yesterday, if you watched the stream, you can find more videos that I was looking at yesterday of them basically fist fighting the cops. Oh, did someone find it? Hey, thank you. Chat is my producer. This wasn't the one I was even thinking of, because there was one where they were actually, like, squaring up with some cops. Nah, because they were just chasing that guy. But there was one where, I also like that cops will say, I feared for my life when someone, like, reaches into their jacket to get their driver's license or whatever. But this guy's literally being chased through the Capitol building by a bunch of terrorists, and he didn't draw a gun even once.
Threw some things at the police officers, but the police officers shot a lady in the neck. The police officers tear gas everybody. I can still taste the gas. And it's just very disgusting. Jolly Grapefruit with the $5. MAGA made more of a splash in one day than Antifa could in a year because we came out in numbers. We didn't burn down random places that look stupid. We went exactly to where we had a problem with. This is also just getting paid for by us. Brendan with $20 said thank you. No, thank you so much.
68 arrests
and
so far.
To that lady, please pray for her family because she was very young. I do not know her name. So is this guy you talk about a Trump supporter? He's more of a QAnon guy. He's at all the events, but every time he's at the events, he always talk about Q and weird stuff.
Hey, here it is. Thank you.
He does it at every event.
This is the video I was referencing, where they're literally, like, fighting the cops in, like, a fist fight way. I can't get the audio to work, but there it is. You see him. We didn't hurt anybody. We just decided to fist fight the cops in the Capitol building.
Like, yeah, like I keep seeing the picture like this guy's Antifa. This guy has a YouTube. This guy's like, no, like, Viking Jake is AZ Proud Boys. I did not know that Viking Jake was a Proud Boy. I knew he was popular in the Q movement and he was like in that weird religion stuff. But I did not know he was a Proud Boy. That's very interesting. But listen, 1776 is what it's all about. It's about fighting. If y'all want to sit here and not fight, then continue being slaves to the government. Matter of fact, you might as well vote for the left at this point. Or vote for one of these rhinos if you're not willing to fight for our country. You think he's not conservative, more Semitic? Yeah. I don't know if he's conservative, but I know he's a cute guy.
We didn't hurt anybody.
I'm not trying to discredit Q. I support so many QAnon people. What are you talking about? He's actually a popular person in the Q movement. He has a YouTube and everything. Her name was Roberta Paulson. R.I.P. to her. And please.
Her name was Roberta Paulson. He fell for the meme. He fell for the meme. Oh no. For those who don't understand what just happened, so there's a movie called Fight Club, which is a good movie. You should watch Fight Club. It's a good satire of a lot of things that are pretty relevant to today. So please go check it out. But there's a scene where someone becomes basically a martyr for this cult terrorist group, and they say repeatedly, his name was Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. And it's supposed to be kind of creepy and off-putting. And a bunch of people, after the lady got shot at the Capitol building, made the joke that her name is Roberta Paulson, not her real name. They're referencing the movie, but apparently he thinks that was really literally her name.
I told her family. Somebody said Antifa are dressed as Trump supporters. Nobody can show me one fact about that. We were all at the Capitol. Everybody in this room was at the Capitol. Gabriel, how many...
Please keep incriminating yourselves. This is great.
Antifa did you see at the Capitol?
I ain't really seen nothing bad.
Zero. I saw zero. Not saying it's impossible for them to be there, but y'all wasn't there, so that's the problem. You never heard of the Viking guy? I only know about him from events. So if y'all not gonna be a slave to this government, then we have to fight. And if is Craig okay? Craig is okay. Everybody is fine. They're fighting. So trying to go back out tonight, I will go out. I'm out here and I'm fighting for our freedom. So I'm with whatever.
Is he still in DC and he's gonna go out tonight too? I'm sure that'll end well for him.
You know it's not Antifa, but InfoWars said it. I think InfoWars said Antifa was planning to dress like Trump. I think they directed it specifically to the woman. I don't know they did a crowd. I wasn't in there for that, but I did see the video.
Take care of Section 230.
Okay, that's enough Bryson Gray. Interesting video in that he's basically mad that his fellow MAGA types are trying to lie and say that Antifa is involved in this in some way when it was entirely Trump supporters, and he's mad at it, and that's funny to me. And he also incriminated himself a lot in that video, which you gotta love, so. Oh, is this a new rap? Is this his new hot tape that he's dropping?
Okay, fully loaded. MK.
1776, you know we ready for war. A million patriots about to bring it straight to your door. They been infringing on our rights, but we won't take it no more. They say righteous is bold as lions, well, they gon' hear us roar. They 17.
Oh, Bryson. Okay, that's enough of him. Let's do some bit messages. The October Red, thank you for following. Madam Smash Your Face In says, Eric Trump says daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair. to change my underwear. Daddy wasn't there. Yeah, Austin Powers. Okay. Nikki's with 100 bits. Not patriots. Patriots don't take down American flags and replace it with their aspiring dictator. Mike Sanders, thank you for following. Vorkvoid, thank you for resubscribing with a 7-month streak. The Distant Red with 20 bits. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not anti-fascist. I'm pro-fash. I mean, we didn't loot Walmart. Mistwitch, thank you for following. Aracaria24, they can break into the U.S. Capitol building and commit sedition because they're taxpayers, but Black Lives Matter can't criticize and organize against law enforcement for murdering people? Are none of them taxpayers? This is ridiculous. Yeah. Felix Night Owl with 20 bits. I wonder if that shaman guy has a high item level. We need a ranged DPS for the raid group. Madam Smash Your Face In with 20 bits. He admitted it multiple times. Yeah. B Strike 701. Hey Hannah, new to chat. I've been watching your content on YouTube, but I just got off the phone with DC Police and let them know about this domestic terrorist. Ooh, nice. Killjoy 102 with 100 bits. So I listened to local right-wing radio today. All of the callers and talk show hosts said it was Antifa false flag, and it wasn't as bad as BLM anyways. Fucking gross. And then Antipodians go to the 280 bits. Snipe. New stream boss. Nice. Citizen X83, thank you for following. Sticks. So here's Sticks on the Capitol being broken into by a bunch of Trump supporters.
All right, everyone, a little bit of an odd take here, actually. I have to do the Capitol video over again because I was not initially aware that several people had actually died in the violence. I believe they were all protesters specifically, so I figured it's best to be accurate about it. One of the finer details of the big news of yesterday, and people are talking about the 25th Amendment, coups and stupid shit. Twitter right now is pretending that Trump caused violence, even though literally one of the tweets that they removed from him was a video calling for calm.
Oh my god, that was the entire point of the video, was that it was doublespeak. He was saying, you need to be calm, but also they stole this election, and it's terrible, and they took that away from you. You're very good, by the way. That was the whole problem. And acting otherwise. This is such a fashy thing to do. The doublespeak and acting like they and you don't know what's actually being said. It's ridiculous. Everyone knows what is being said, but apparently fascists, I don't know if they think everyone else is stupid or they think if they play stupid, they'll get away with shit. It's so strange.
Very interesting take from Twitter there, and it should be illegal. That being said, first and foremost, I am abused by YouTube. You should join me on another video hosting site. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of purging of YouTubers in the next few months as the result of the Capitol incident that I'm talking about now. So there will be links in a pinned comment to other sites. By the way, I do exclusive videos on BitChute, 1 per day, so you're not getting the full clank if you're not joining me there. I'm also on Rumble, Odyssey, and Dailymotion, all fine sites. What just happened yesterday was that some thousands of Trump supporters were pissed off at the proceedings and proceeded to physically invade the U.S. Capitol building. Several people were shot. They tried to breach, I believe, the main room, and were held off by the guards, and there were multiple deaths there.
No, they got into the main chamber. Does Styx not even know what happened? Did he intentionally avoid it because of the cognitive dissonance that would have to be involved for him to, like, be like, this is okay, this is fine? They got into the main chamber.
But anyway, first and foremost, I oppose political violence. But secondly, I noticed that a lot of the people that are very, very angry at it and saying, oh my god, it's a coup, it riots, violence, oh no, political violence, and they will attempt to cause people like me to perpetually disavow things, as though we haven't been calling out political violence for a long time. I noticed that they're the same people that not only condoned, but in some cases literally encouraged violent riots in various U.S. cities earlier in the last year. And
I'll restate what I've said about this previously, and that's, first of all, most of the activities around protests for, like, George Floyd and various Black Lives Matter events, most of them were peaceful, and I prefer that route. I think that's the better way to go in terms of events or whatever. Yeah, I think that's for the best. But also, I think the intent kind of matters. If you are aggrieved and frustrated that the government doesn't care that you're being, like, murdered systematically by people in authority, and it's been decades and decades of protesting peacefully, and absolutely nothing has changed, I'm not condoning it, but I understand if you get angry enough to try and get attention by making a ruckus, let's say. Again, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying I understand. However, when you're just mad that you lost an election, and then you decide to try and overthrow a democratic election because you're so mad about it, that's not okay. These are different things. Once again, conservatives are pretending context matters. Not at all, because it's always advantageous for them to do that. No, it's not the same thing to go out and protest that you are being killed by the police at an inordinate level versus, hey, let's go overthrow the United States government and undo the election because the guy we like lost. These are completely different things on totally different levels, and equivocating in any way just makes you look like a jackass. Oh, muted.
When George Floyd or Jacob Blake were killed, well, George Floyd technically wasn't killed, riots...
He was killed.
Broke out all across the U.S., and what we were told by the MSM was, well, we need to listen to these people's grievances. No, we may not like their methods, but, you know, they're just burning Wendy's. It's not really a big problem. Ignore the flames, ignore the violence. Political violence is okay, said the MSM. Sometimes, you know, the system doesn't work. They have a grievance, so they're acting out. Why is it that we can't have a national conversation about the grievance of the Trump supporters?
Because their grievance is stupid. Because their grievance is stupid. Their grievance is, we don't like the results of democracy. That's not an okay grievance to have in the United States. It just isn't.
Trump supporters have gotten together, time and time again, with people constantly predicting massive amounts of violence every time more than two people with MAGA hats get together. It never really happens. And then...
What are you talking about? Just weeks ago at the previous DC Trump rally, a bunch of people got stabbed. What are you talking about?
You have one incident where a riot, which is what this is, breaks out, and the MSM pretends that we need to silence them quick. We need to shut them up. Remove Trump. Ban him off Twitter. Put him in jail. Put all these people in jail. Quick, we need to do something about this. Why didn't you ever say that about Antifa and BLM?
Again, Antifa is not an organization. It's people who are anti-fascist. Black Lives Matter is a grassroots organization to put together events and stuff to get people to protest for their rights.
They've been burning their own cities down and killing people now for months and months. The damage in Kenosha alone, didn't they evaluate it in the hundreds of millions range? The violence in Portland, didn't they evaluate that
Kenosha,
as like 100, 200 million? Violence in Michigan, all over the place. You've had billions in damage.
Remember Kyle Rittenhouse, but don't worry, MAGA people never hurt anyone, except all the times they murder people or break into the Capitol building.
You had dozens of deaths attendant to far-left violence, and not only is it condoned, it's literally explicitly endorsed by members of Congress. Some of the same people in Congress that were hunkering down behind their benches, scared shitless of the MAGA crowd in there trying to break through, some of those same people explicitly endorse political violence. So the same pundits that are pretending that Trump is trying to stage a coup despite him pledging to transition, despite him openly calling for calm.
He didn't pledge to transition until today, which is like the day after the riot.
So some of those same people, they've spent a very long time now openly encouraging this kind of behavior, as long as it's people with black power shirts instead of MAGA hats. What do you expect people to do when you have taken a large chunk of U.S. society? They've been perpetually abused by shitty trade deals, by corrupt sellout sleazy empty suit politicians. They've been alienated by billionaires, and they're angry.
Then your solution should not be to overthrow an election for Donald Trump. You're not solving any of these problems by doing that. If you found a solution to these problems that didn't involve destroying democracy and installing some sort of, like, fascistic dictatorship with Donald Trump as the figurehead, great. We can talk about whatever solution you think would be appropriate. This solution is not appropriate, though. if it needs to be said.
And they're constantly told that they're wrong to be angry, that there's something perpetually and irredeemably wrong with them. They get called names by politicians. They get called names by corporate hacks. They're constantly abused and deranged. And you act like...
If you want to stop being called, like, a-holes or fascists, then stop being a-holes and fascists. That'd be great.
Like they don't have a right to be angry. They act like doubling down on abusive names and censorship is suddenly going to make the situation better. No, it'll make it worse. Twitter bans the President of the United States from posting for 12 hours, despite the fact that what was removed was just him airing, number one, grievances against Pence because he disagrees with the election certification, and number two, literally...
Again, inciting the riot that was caused by him. Let's see. Does Trump have his Twitter back yet? Has he been tweeting? This tweet is no longer available. Yeah, they removed some tweets. I don't know if he has it back yet or not, but he hasn't tweeted since yesterday. So, that's interesting.
Calling for calm, telling people to go home. This was considered a call to violence by Twitter.
Again, because he was. He said, this is the worst. You're all being cheated. This is terrible. The election is a fraud, and what's going on in the Capitol is a fraud. You should probably go home, though. But I love you, and you're great. And also, I've been cheated, and you've been cheated, and it's all terrible, and this is awful. But you should go home. But this is terrible. It's doublespeak at its finest.
This was considered a call to violence. This is considered by idiots like AOC to be impeachable. Trump did nothing. He told people to show up at the Capitol for a rally. That's what he did. He did not call for violence. He did not condone violence. He did the opposite of what the MSM's been doing since last May. Calling for violence. They have, by their...
Please, find me the clip of CNN telling people to go out and burn their local Target to the ground.
Inability to disavow groups like BLM and Antifa, they have helped to create a toxic mess of a situation in which groups of sometimes thousands or tens of thousands of leftists rampage through the streets of various U.S. cities virtually uninhibited. They have created that...
Tell that to the bail funds. I don't think that was virtually uninhibited. Did you see all the police violence after that shit? That was crazy.
Situation that has caused dozens of deaths and billions of dollars in property damage. All of a sudden, these same people are morbidly terrified by the specter of political violence that they themselves have created. The inability of the establishment towards any form of meaningful introspection is the most dangerous thing we grapple with today.
I would argue the lack of introspection from people like Styx, Trump, and the right is a much greater threat, but okay.
And I would argue billionaire censorship. The establishment right now is getting its jollies off proposing all sorts of panacea sort of bullcrap for a problem that they themselves have created. You're looking at the symptom, which is this Capitol riot, the invasion of the Capitol building, but you're not looking at the underlying cause. It's just a symptom. Just like far leftist rioting in your cities is a symptom. It's a symptom of sick society on a state and sometimes citywide level. Corrupt politicians, corrupt DAs, corrupt attorney generals. That's what you've got. That's the problem. Pretending that this is Trump's fault is ludicrous. It's not Trump's fault. He didn't call for violence. Told people to show up for a political rally. At what point in the rally did he say, well, I want you to take up arms and smash through into the Capitol? No, he disavows that.
Again, thinking you literally need to say, go and do political violence for me for it to count. Brilliant.
He unequivocally disavows political violence. Just like I do. Just like most of you probably do. But the MSM doesn't. The far left doesn't. In fact, they're quite happy about it. Until the shoe's on the other foot and it's people with MAGA hats and Gadsden flags. Now all of a sudden, the biggest headlines all over the country. Riot. Coup attempt. Orange man bad.
Orange Man is bad. His supporters broke into the Capitol building yesterday.
Well, you weren't saying that about the Fentanyl Floyd riots or what happened in Kenosha.
Ooh.
The only time you had a problem with what happened...
Can we get Styx banned already? Jesus Christ, I'm sick of this.
...in Kenosha was when a 17-year-old kid defended himself against a dude who drew a gun on him. That's when you complained. That was a big, horrible thing. He was a fanatic because he Went there to put out fires and deliver medical aid to people. He's a horrible extremist, but the people who are literally right next to him...
Do I think the inauguration will be held at an undisclosed location? I honestly hope so at this point.
Starting a fire next to a gas station of all places, they're perfect. Fine people. Great citizens. We should listen to them. We should fucking let them fuck us in the ass. We should listen to their grievances because they have something meaningful to say. Now, these people have something meaningful to say, but they're not being listened to. When people don't get listened to, things can turn violent. That doesn't mean that it's good. I'd hate to know how much the taxpayers are going to be billed for that fucking door that they tried to break through. Probably hundreds of thousands of dollars because, you know, pork is a thing in D.C. The fucking toilets there are worth more than your house in some cases. You imagine the toilet Trump sits on. Trying to silence Trump or silence MAGA hat wearers, make it a bad word, make the Gadsden flag a hate symbol and stupid shit like that will make the situation worse, especially when it's totally lopsided. What's happened is that
people don't unilaterally decide something is a hate symbol. However, if you continually take a flag like that to these events where hate and, like, breaking into the Capitol building are a thing, then it's going to be associated with that. Like, a swastika didn't used to mean evil. It was like a religious symbol for certain people, and then it was co-opted by the Nazis, and then it became associated with them, and then the Nazis did awful, awful things, and then all of a sudden the swastika becomes a no-no in the Western world because it becomes associated with that evil. If you don't want the things that you use, the symbols you use to represent yourself, to come to mean evil, you need to not do evil things while using those symbols to represent yourself.
the corporations have latched onto it. They make money off selling fucking BLM shirts made in China. And that's basically, it's a big grift. It's a big joke. It's a joke to these people. Tens of millions of Americans feel completely alienated right now. Don't you think that when all you do to them is insult them and tell them that they're idiots, don't you think that that makes them angry? And you put half these people out of work. You've destroyed the economy. The establishment has destroyed our economy. Everything's a joke to them. They don't listen to people. They don't care about the U.S. working class or the middle class. They only care about the super rich, and they pretend to care about the very poor. Everyone in between, 80% of the population, they say, fuck you. Fuck yourself.
I guess you should care about how billionaires and the wealthy have subverted our democracy. I guess you should probably care about that instead of, I was going to say a word I'm not allowed to say on Twitter or Twitch anymore, instead of going to bat and suckling on Donald Trump, another billionaire who doesn't give a shit about you. That'd be great.
You don't deserve anything. We're gonna abuse you more. Oh, you have a problem with it? More taxes. Oh, you have a problem with it? You're a fanatic. Oh, you have a problem with it? We're gonna get billionaires to silence you. We're gonna get you kicked out. We're gonna make you a pariah. Don't you think that when you create a substrate of society of a bunch of pariahs and you constantly tell them, hey, you're evil and fanatic, don't you think eventually they're gonna start acting like it? I don't blame these people at all. Can you blame them for their anger after the...
Yes, if they direct it the way they have directed it. Yes, I can blame them.
way they've been treated for the last 4 years? And it didn't start then. It started back in the fucking 90s. It started back with NAFTA and shit like that. The people of the United States have had enough. And most of the people on the other side condemning us, oh, it's violence and stuff. No, most of these are just partisans. They just don't like it because Trump's a Republican. Really?
No. I wouldn't like much if anyone broke into the Capitol building in an angry mob if it wasn't for, like, a very righteous reason. Their reason wasn't righteous. They didn't have the moral high ground. They were just a bunch of butthurt MAGA idiots who were mad that Trump lost the election, incited in part by people like Tim Pool, people like Styx, who went around for the last 2 months lying to them about supposed election fraud, which, again, didn't happen. So no, I don't feel bad for them.
And they believe MSM propaganda. They actually believe he's trying to stage a coup. It's just like they actually believe that he praised tiki torch waving Nazis marching in Charlottesville. They actually believe these things.
Yeah? Because he said they were... said there were fine people on both sides.
They live in a world of complete delusion because they've been lied to. I can't even blame them. If you're lied to constantly, if a wall of propaganda is...
Ooh, did a police officer die? U.S. Capitol police officers died following pro-Trump riot. Well, there you go. There goes all their claims that they've never killed anyone.
Are you proud of what happened here today?
U.S. Capitol police officers died from events stemming from Wednesday's riot at the Capitol, 3 sources confirmed to CNN, in which a mob of President Donald Trump supporters stormed the building to stop the counting of electoral votes that affirmed President-elect Joe Biden's win. The police officer is now the 5th person to die as a result of the day's violence. 1 woman was shot and killed by Capitol Police as the crowd breached the building, and 3 others suffered medical emergencies that proved fatal.
It's non-stop in front of you, and half of these people, they get their news from the internet. There's literally a screen in front of them half the day. They carry their phone around when they're being indoctrinated constantly. How can you blame them for being wrong? When they're being told shit that's not true, when news speak...
Someone asks medical emergencies. What I've heard the rumors are for the 3 other deaths are someone had a heart attack when a flashbang or something went off and it startled them and they had like a heart attack. They were like an old person. Another person, you saw probably some pictures of some people climbing some of the Capitol building features. One person apparently fell off and died. And the third one, which I think is the most sus because it's just too like perfect in terms of how silly it is. Someone like tased themselves and like died or something. I don't know if I believe that one. They died of death, yes.
Is being filtering into their mind practically 24/7. They start dreaming in newspeak. They start dreaming in red and yellow, the colors of China. That's what's happening to the U.S. public.
And McDonald's.
I don't blame these.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Because I can't, or they'll send me to a gulag.
People for being angry. I mean, I'm not going to encourage political violence, but I can sort of understand where they're coming from. And I think that the Capitol Police opening fire on a group of protesters, none of which had weapons, I've been told by the MSM that it's a fiery but mostly peaceful protest. Mostly peaceful. Yeah, only 4 people were killed. Only 4. It's not dozens of people. It's mostly peaceful, right? Most of the people there didn't break down a door. Most of them didn't shatter a window. Most of them didn't hurl death threats at a congressman. Mostly peaceful. We should listen to them. Let's have a national conversation about what they want, about what they believe in. Because you've told them that they're not supposed to speak. You've told them their vote doesn't matter, and you've called them all sorts of names for the last...
No one says they can't speak. I think people get told to shut up when they're stupid, or shut up when they have hateful opinions. Then you need to not have those hateful opinions.
Last half decade, no shit, they're angry. No, I can't understand why. I can't understand. Now, their answer to this is, oh, well, we should expel Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz from the Senate. Yeah, that'll make the problem go away. It totally won't start looking like a far-left coup. It totally won't look like the establishment strikes back. It won't legitimize every claim made about fucking Beijing Biden being an asterisk president in order to start purging the Senate. Do you realize how tyrannical you sound? You're the authoritarians.
These senators were encouraging the kind of political violence by trying to throw shade on the legitimacy of our democracy. Trying to remove them as fascist, actually. Really? That's your go-to? Great.
Trump fans aren't. They feel bereaved because they feel their liberties being taken away. The other side fights in
my liberty is being taken away by losing an election.
In favor of corporate money and China. Talk about alienating the population. Half the population doesn't even consider the election results to be properly certified, dude. Don't you think?
Okay, and they're wrong. Just because you have an opinion on something, you don't get to have an opinion on a fact. The fact is they are wrong. I don't need to entertain the opinion that is wrong. I'm sorry that people like you have helped mislead them into believing that their opinion is correct, but it's not. They've been affected by propaganda put out by chuds like you, put out by the president, who want to lie to them and say that the election is illegitimate. But as it turns out, the people who actually gatekeep this stuff do fact check, so for the most part, it didn't do anything. So all you've done is rile up a bunch of desperate people on the right who now don't know what to do with that anger because you've incited a bunch of just conspiracy bullshit in them. It's terrible. This is on you, Sticks. You and all you chuds.
Think it's a powder keg situation to antagonize people further? If people are willing to break into the U.S. Capitol of all places, they're certainly willing to do more on a local level, by the way. Maybe they should start taking that seriously. Instead of constantly heaping abuse on these people, listen to them for once in your God-forsaken lives. But of course, I'm talking to a brick wall. And I'm also, because I'm algorithmically censored, it's not like anyone who needs to hear this message is likely to hear it. Because big corporations...
I'm algorithmically censored. My videos only get 100,000 views. I wish I'd get algorithmically censored that hard.
And the establishment have screwed everything up. They've taken the United States and they've made us a laughingstock while projecting their weakness, their pathetic corruption, off on Donald Trump, the whipping boy of the entire goddamn generation. That's about all. So...
Donald Trump is the whipping boy of an entire generation. YouTube, can you ban Sticks yet? Please. Pretty please. He's trash. Oh no, he's back in the bathrobe! At least he's wearing, like, a shirt this time. Great. Ugh. Stop with the bathrobe, Sticks. Okay, that's Sticks. That's enough Sticks. Let me get to these bit messages and stuff. Citizen X83, thank you for following. A Robinson 801, thank you for following. James Eichelberger 2591, thank you for following. Annie's streams with 25 bits. I wonder if these people would equivocate the Red Wings fans rioting to celebrate a Stanley Cup with the Insurrection event we witnessed, the way they do with the St. Paul target. CA Corner with 20 bits. To be fair, Jacob Blake technically wasn't, so benefit of the doubt, he got confused. Querulous Artisan with 20 bits. Hey Hannah, I can't believe all this violence I have seen in Michigan. Cannot believe. It's almost as if I never see it. J-Man 23, 45, 43, 2. Thank you for following. Creeping Darkness with 20 bits. Picture of Bryson found at the Capitol. Let me look. Let me see if I can find the link. It's too far up in the chat. If you want to relink it, I can take a look. But Mac Geek, thank you for hosting. Logarth says he is so close to getting it. So close. CA Corner with 20 bits. I withdraw my benefit of the doubt post. Derogatory use of George Floyd. Dower Matilda, thank you for following. Nickies with 100 bits. One of those tiki torch Nazis was in the Capitol baked Alaska. Yeah. There's the Facebook. I don't know about that one. The Distant Red, they've been speaking about it. They literally went to court about it, like a lot. The Dracophage, thank you for following. Bardlock Moses with 50 bits. Won't anyone think of the billionaires? Okay. I kind of need to go get ready for D&D, so it might just be a little bit shorter of a stream today. Let's see if we can find someone to raid. The Surfs are live. Let's do the Surfs. Haven't done the Surfs in a while. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming to the stream. It was fun, even though we had some issues with Twitch early on. We pulled through in the end, so I'm glad you guys could show up. I won't be streaming tomorrow because I have my electrolysis appointment to go remove facial hair, which is good. I'm very sick of it. It is gross. Chat's valid, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. We're going to be doing D&D later over on Actual Jake's channel if you watch our D&D streams. If you're new here, give me a follow if you liked what you saw. I stream most days of the week. So, see you guys later. Have a good night.